Up.
I just bring your foot, hold your foot up, Jay. Oh, look at that!
See? I got that, yeah.
We told you people that if you gifted 100 memberships on the Liam and Joe show on Tuesday, we would deck Joe in head-to-toe Lidl gear. The promise is here.
The only downside was that they don't do
It's a bit higher.
extra large shirts. So I got an extra. It was not far off actually. Like I can button it in the middle, but if I breathed out too much, like sat down, I think I'd fire those buttons off everywhere.
We're not far off that. We're not far off that fitting quite nicely, Jay.
But it's what
we're getting there.
It's what the people wanted.
Yeah. The worst part about it was as well is you bought the fucking trainers out, and I was like, they are
nice trainers. I basically took my shoes off in Lidl this morning, tried them on my normal clothes. I was like, they actually look quite nice.
They're actually all right.
Yeah. And there was another pair of shorts. They were like blue, but with like the red and yellow stripes down the side. But I was like, that's not obvious enough to them.
No, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
It cost me. It was 100% worth it.
But I tell you what,
it was 100% worth it, chap.
Got little socks on.
You have got little socks on. Well, they're normal size, but they're little.
But the little just look like I'm going to the beach. I'm like one of those cool kids.
If I was to say some words to describe you right now, it is you look like one of those cool kids. Yeah.
I look like I got off a bus, that's for sure. Right.
I'd absolutely say you look like one of those cool kids.
I tell you what, for sub 30 quid, full outfit, including shoes. Right? The only thing they don't sell is pants.
It was more expensive because we went for the trainers over the sliders.
Yeah, I didn't have any sliders in my side. When I was there when I was there on Saturday, but they had 4 full sections, like a good 20-metre row of the middle of Lidl was just all clothes, t-shirts, shoes, the lot. When I went there this morning, like it'd gone down to one section. It was like so I really had to like dig deep to find clothes.
It turns out that 78% of Westbury watch our show.
Yeah.
And after Tuesday, they all went to buy Lidl uniform. Must have been. That must have been what happened. Yeah. Definitely, no one's just buying it ironically because it's Lidl gear.
Yeah. Next, I need to find out when Primani start selling all their Greg stuff.
We took a lovely photo of him. We put it in the Thames, and then we also sent it to Joe's better half. And what did she say about your lovely new uniform, Joe?
She was like, "Is it an outfit that stays in the studio?" Was her response.
I know what you're saying, Tamsin. I think he looks glorious. I think Joe looks glorious.
Look at those guns.
We made a promise.
I can't even move my arm. That's the problem.
We made a promise. We kept our promise.
Yeah.
There you
go.
go.
Next outfit, let us know when we make 100.
I hope Joe doesn't run into any Aldi bros on the way home. We went to Aldi after I got here to get lunch and dinner.
That's one literally 5-minute walk from here.
And he didn't put the gear on to go to Aldi.
No, I thought I'd get lynched.
He chickened out.
The staff would come out. They got security guards in our one, so that's pretty rough.
Anyway, you look amazing.
Thank you.
And you, chat, also look amazing. Welcome back to the studio. Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful Thursday afternoon.
It's lovely, isn't it?
This is one of those days where I'm genuinely a bit sad we have a studio and I have a job that means I have to be inside the whole time.
Definitely shorts weather.
I'd like to just be outside right now because it's beautiful out there. That being said, I'm also very glad, again, like Tuesday, that we have air conditioning. It's a stunning day outside. It's beautifully warm. We walked to Aldi and back and got an absolute sweat on. But it is a beautiful day here on the sunny South Coast. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit all those magical YouTube buttons for us. Hit the like button if you enjoy the content. Smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're like 3 away from hitting 32,500 subscribers. All right. You can hit the bell notification icon if you want to be notified every single time we go live or drop a new video, or you can become a member of the Great Hall, a member of the channel. Get yourself in Discord, !Discord if you are a member. You can click on reaction rolls, 40k reaction roll, 40k squad, and every time we schedule a stream, go live or drop a new video, you'll be notified. If you do come in at Skull tier, you get early access to the sagas. There's one going live on Monday with Vince of Pleasant Kenobi fame. You also get an additional 5% discount on all of our merchandise in the merch store if you just check the threads in Discord. If you look at the higher tiers, there's other benefits and bonuses that are mentioned on YouTube. The only one that's not mentioned on YouTube is the Jarls get their own giveaway every month.
Yeah. Just looking at that picture, there's a real optical illusion going in.
Yeah,
isn't
it makes it look bigger or smaller. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure what's going on there, but it's not something I've seen before. I feel like I should do that.
That's even better!
They're not even that big, my knee. The camera really adds 20 pounds, doesn't it?
How many cameras are on you?
It makes me look like I've got legs like Eddie Hall, for fuck's sake. Jesus.
So today is a big day. We kind of hinted at it a bit in the past, previously a little bit, but today's a big day because it's the launch of a new edition. Basically. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That's worth it. They're in it for the little uniform alone.
Oh,
Will Stewart with the 50 gifted.
I feel like he should choose the next brand of outfit with 50 like that.
As long as it's a cheap one, Joe.
I don't know.
If he's like Armani, I'm like, sorry, Will.
What if he's like, I want you to dress like a Russian gangster from a Call of Duty game? Just like full red tracksuit with the lines down the
Will,
side.
Thank you so much for
Thank
50
you.
gifted, you absolute fucking legend.
Hero.
I hope when you go to Lidl, they do still have 7 aisles of clothes.
Yeah, in your size.
In your size, yeah.
Yeah, and I hope they fit perfectly. I hope it's like, but putting on the clothes from Lidl for you are like putting on a tailored suit. Just fits perfectly in all the...
My tailored suit doesn't fit perfectly anymore.
No?
I tried it on yesterday and I can get like 3 fingers in my belt line now.
Yeah?
Yeah. I felt really happy about it.
Yeah? Bully for you.
Your XL shirt nearly fits.
It does.
That's good for you, Joe.
That is good for me.
Yeah,
It's
so
good for
come
me,
on,
yeah,
we're
yeah. I've never
encouraging.
owned a tailored suit.
Have you not?
No, because my weight fluctuates all over the place because of consistent dieting and going to the gym. Until now, obviously. Right. I just buy all my if I get invited to an event that requires a suit, I just get it from a charity shop.
I used to George Asda suits.
Yeah.
When I was in the army, before I met Luce, if you wanted to go out trapping, George Asda suits, right? Because if it got covered in vomit, you just put it in the bin.
Yeah.
The cheapest shit.
Yeah.
Like 12 quid for a suit
but
jacket.
It does look like they were designed for people from Minecraft, though.
Yeah,
'Cause literally, it's all square. Like nothing is long, it's all squares.
Right. Okay. I don't think Will shops at Lidl. Well, you never know. You never know, Crumpets Palette. It might be how he's gifted. Thank you so much, Will, for the 50
Thank you.
gifted.
And then thank you, Dan Skippy, for 5. Thank you, Neil Woodall, for 5. Thank you, Brandon Lagasse, for 5.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, we're on.
65, Joe.
Yeah, I just counted them up. Don't worry. I can maths too.
Back to topic, chat, right? Back to topic. I have to shop at Lidl because I get 50. That's Will. We love you, Will.
We do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We also have to shop at Lidl, so you're just becoming one of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, today's a big day because there has been a bunch of new updates chucked out in the Warhammer 40k universe, and I jokingly said before Will spaffed his loading gifted 50 that it's basically the launch of a new edition.
Yeah.
Now, this is where I am very kind of currently torn. On the one side, I've read through the majority of the updates, and the majority of them, I think, are pretty good and probably needed. And all of us will probably agree that when we look at the changes, we're going to look at some of the main ones later. We're going to go, yeah, actually, I get it. I can see why it makes sense. They're good changes. The downside is there's a lot. When you consider the state of the game when it first launched less than a year ago, and where it is now with today's updates, there's a lot. And the question that I put on the stream, brand new balanced data slate, the next part of it was, is it even 10th edition anymore? It's changed so much now that the negative part of me wants to say to GW, at this point, you need to re-release the fucking rulebook and the codexes.
I don't think they'll re-release the book.
No, they absolutely won't. Yeah. They're never going to do that for the whole of the edition. But I kind of want to say to them, at this point, you probably owe your customers free fucking updates via an actual physical product.
At this point, you kind of stop selling the rulebook, don't you?
Almost, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So what we're going to do today is we're going to dive into some of the main changes, right? Specifically, we're going to look at the balanced data slate, the core rules and the rules commentary is what we're going to look at mostly. We'll have a quick glance at the Minotaur and Field Manual as well, just because I want to show you one page in the Minotaur and Field Manual. But obviously the Field Manual is changed. The points values of lots of units. If you look at it, red gone up, green it's gone down. Have a look at that yourself. There's no point me sitting here going through every single points change for you because it's really fucking dull and boring. The other thing we're not going to go and do is they've updated every single faction FAQ. Joe and I were wildly happy about 2 weeks ago when we got 33 fucking email updates.
Luckily for me, I was sat at home painting, so I was like, I'm going to put all the basic material on and just leave that to dry whilst I read them all. You were out for the day, weren't you?
Yeah, I was annoyed. My phone just kept going off of email, because when they update an individual PDF, you get a separate email for it. So I haven't read all the faction-specific ones yet, and I probably am not going to until I come to use them. We're not going to go over every single faction-specific FAQ today because it would be here for fucking 5 hours. We wouldn't have an evening game. What we are going to do is we're going to play a game this evening at 7:30 on the channel. It's going to be Tyranids versus Dark Angels, using some significantly outdated rules for Tyranids and some significantly outdated rules for specifically the Deathwing detachment in Dark Angels. And we'll be using all of the balanced Dataslate changes, okay?
Yeah.
So we'll be using them literally tonight at 7:30. So tune in at 7:30 if you want to see all these changes. Now, I've seen a couple of comments already in chat, and you're probably right. It isn't actually 11th edition. It is more like 10.5.
Yeah.
But it is 10.5. I don't think it can anymore be classified as actual base 10th edition, and that's why I'm a bit annoyed that they're still selling the original rulebook. Someone said to me the other day, actually on the stream, as a new player, do I need the rulebook, or should I just use the app? And I was like, fucking don't buy the rulebook. No. It's wrong. It's just wrong already.
What you need is one of the pamphlets they released early on, the little fold-out ones. Read it, learn how to move your models, and then set it on fire.
Yeah.
And then go and look at the changes, and then I think you're all right.
Elijah says, that's funny as fuck, Liam, because Spider from Tactics pretty much said the same thing. Lawrence is a wise man. He knows the game very well.
I find it really weird when people use like their
nicknames.
Well,
Lawrence knows 40k very well. He's been doing this for a very long time. He was, I think, up until recently a playtester until he went, fuck being part of that anymore, because it's a mess. Lawrence is a smart guy. He's played 40k for a very long time. He's a good player. Wouldn't be surprised if he also comes up with common sense statements about the current state of the game. Yeah. We'll see. So we're going to jump into some of these, right? Christ, that's a view to the Joe and Joe to Death Short. Yeah, it is, right. So what I'm going to do now...
Someone said they're watching on the beach in Corfu.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, I look like I should be on a beach in Corfu.
We'll get some photos out in the car park later in the sunshine.
All they can see is it looks like I'm glowing I'm white. I think, yeah.
John McCardle!
John McCardle!
Oh my God, thank you for 20 gifted, mate. What a legend. That puts us on, fuck me, chat, we're on 85 members.
I know. We're
15
so close.
minutes in.
We're 15 away from 100 in the next clothing goal.
No, we're not doing that.
I kind of want to do it now. I would have, if like people, obviously.
I tell you what, the 100 gifted memberships from Tuesday cost me a £20 little outfit.
Yeah.
If they do it again before 3:30, right? So 15 minutes. If you do it again, before 2 o'clock, 15 minutes, 2 o'clock. They do the 100 again. You'll get another £20 to go to any charity shop of your choosing and get a full outfit.
Nice.
Yeah?
Yeah, someone did say charity shop earlier.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, let's do that then. And every single time we get 100 members of the Liam and Joe show, I'm going to give you £20 to go and get an outfit from a charity shop. Deal? You up for it? Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Right, okay, so this is obviously the download page. Let me grab my little...
Do I get to keep the change?
You get to keep, yeah. If you buy your outfit for £7, Joe, you're 13 quid up.
Yeah.
So here's the downloads page for 40k on the Warhammer.
Gets going to see Foo Fighters. I fucking love Foo
on the Warhammer community page. So if you can see, these are all updated 20th of the 6th, all updated this is the 2nd of the 6th. These are from previous. If we then go into individual factions, 20th, 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 they've all got fresh it updated everything. Everything got a fresh update. Absolutely everything, right? Apart from Emperor's Children, lol. So we're not going to focus on the majority of these faction ones. It kind of doesn't make sense. The first thing I'm going to do is jump into the Minotaur and Field Manual. If you know the MFM, the MFM is where you go for your points. It's my personal opinion. They should no longer be printing points in codexes. I shall show you why. This is why they should not be.
That's insane.
This is why they shouldn't be printing points.
Have you updated your sisters list from the other day? Have you looked at how many?
I actually haven't. Should we do that now?
Do that live now, because you haven't looked at your sister's army, which was 2,000 points when you played Brom.
It was 2,000 points on the nose when I played Brom the other day.
Yeah.
Right? Is it that one? I think it's that one. I've got so many armies on here. Yeah, it is that one. Are you ready, Jay? Let's have a look. So I played Brom with 2,000 points, even though he beat me, I think. No, it was you that beat me. Yeah. So I pulled Brom's pants down, if I remember right. It was sisters.
You did.
Yeah.
So you beat Brom.
Beat Kirioth.
You beat Kirioth, but you lost to me.
Yeah.
That was my first win in ages.
That was my 2,000 point list. This is now 2,455 points. So my list has gone up by 455 points.
I feel like that's justified as well.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Considering you beat me with Codex Chaos Space Marines, Joe,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
My Chaos Space Marine army went up. No, it went up by 80 points. But I think that's all in Legionnaires.
I mean, Repentia were 110 and they gained 70 points a unit. They're up to 180 now.
They are very good though.
I think it's too much. But this is why
I think 150 would have been fine for Repentia, 15 points a model.
But this is something that this is a point I want to touch on very, very quickly. This is something that as a creator and a previewer wildly fucking frustrates me. You have to remember that these points changes aren't points changes from the previous Minotaur and Field Manual. What happens is they have Minotaur and Field Manual, okay? Then what they do is they go Codex, and then when they release, because we've done this, we've had this on calls with GW, and then when they release these points, they color code them green or red based on the Codex points. So you guys haven't actually seen the Codex points in your hand yet, and this is the changes from the Codex, right? Stop printing points in the fucking Codex. There's no point. Look how many changes there are.
Yeah.
Also, why the fuck have we not got this a week and a half ago before we start making content?
Yeah.
Because now, every Sisters Battle report that I've made with that Codex on the preview
It's
time
nearly 500 points
is
up.
500 points over. It doesn't show you a true reflection of Sisters.
No.
So we've all been going, Sisters are currently broken. And they were when I wasn't using an extra 500 points of models.
Yeah.
Just a little rant, really pisses me off. If you could be so kind, Games Workshop, as to at least give the preview Codex points to us before we start making fucking content, that would be good.
What the thing is though, if these points get changed in 3 months' time, and some go more red, some stay grey, some go down to green, right? That's based on the previous one, not the Codex. So if you've got the Codex and you in 3 months' time, because I might do Sisters, they're really strong. You got these up or down compared to. You'll see why soon.
AdMech clearly needed a points
I'm running
increase.
AdMech on Tuesday.
AdMech needed a points increase across the boards. Some
all the what are they called? Not the Aspect Warriors, the leaders.
Autarchs.
No, Phoenix Lords. The Phoenix Lords all got cheaper.
Good, because they weren't really taken at all.
Yeah.
And there's some little changes here and there, like some stuff got cheaper for Guard.
cheaper.
Like, oh look, all the indirect stuff got cheaper for Guard. All the indirect stuff got cheaper for Guard. You're going to go, what the fuck? Wait one, chat.
All right. When we do see the rules, I have a problem with that specifically. The points getting cheaper.
Like I said, wait one, chat. Honestly, you'll see why Be'lakor got cheaper, because no one was just auto-taking him anyway. Anywho, some stuff in Chaos Space Marines got more expensive, not a massive surprise.
Yeah.
And that's the changes across the board, right? So there's tweaks and traits in here. There's nothing that's quite as dramatic as the Sisters one, but it just annoys me as a previewer when you... What's the orange nonsense? Oh, some green, some red.
Oh,
Okay.
go up. There's one thing I did like to see, actually. I did see, which I quite like, which I need to put more of into the game.
5 is 120 and 10 is 180?
Yeah.
Agree.
Because the first 5, you can take 4 special weapons. Anything after that is just bog-o models.
Yeah, that's a good
I'd
choice.
like to see that more in units that have a limited amount of special weapons in it.
Oh, my Knight Lancer got cheaper.
Yeah.
That's good. So I can now put an enhancement in my night list that I wanted to build. So there's a couple of like race going up. Surprise, surprise. Okay. Mega Knobs went up. Surprise, surprise. More on that in just a moment. But there's obviously it's a balanced data slate for points. Things go up, things go down.
But Mega Knobs have gone up to 45, 50 points a model now when they were 35 points a model, which was insane. They're 40 points a model.
But it's the age-old, isn't it, Joe? If you saw the Orcs Codex and the current points value and you went out and bought 18 Mega Knobs and you're about to see the points have gone up and you're about to see the rules have changed, bigger for you haven't learnt yet, it's your own fault, right?
The thing is, though, 18 Mega Knobs is still good. Right? I still think their points are justified.
So balanced data slate. This is the main part. We're also going to look at the rules commentary and the rules updates. Okay.
So before we do this,
Yep.
very quickly, thank you, Crumpets Panda says, I reckon the Leagues of Votan are the redacted book after this update. Barely any points, no major rules changes. Hopefully that means a second wave of releases. Funny you should say that, Because me and Liam were having a conversation the other day,
Tuesday,
where I was like, I think Votan are next.
because
Of the Kill Team box set.
Yep.
If you look historically in the past at Kill Team boxes released during 10th edition and a bit of 9th, any units that came in a Kill Team box set were followed up by a new codex.
Yep.
Right. The only one that's not following that trend currently is the Mandrakes for Drakari. But that's not to say that Drakari aren't next either. We might see a double release of Votan then Drakari. It's my theory.
So here's the balance data. A lot of people don't read the top blurb, right?
Yeah.
However you choose blah, 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 they will be applied blah, 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 right? Okay, cool. Where existing passages of rules text are presented, new or revised sections are marked in red. Entries marked with a plus have been newly added or revised since the previous iteration of this document, okay? I'm going to bring that up now because it's important. So some of the things have got red pluses, like this, okay? Modifying a stratagem CP cost. Rules that enable you to target a unit from your army with a stratagem for 0 CP, but do not specify the name of the stratagem, e.g. a captain's rights of battle ability, instead reduce the CP costs to 1. We kind of knew that anyway. So you can't no longer go instead reduce the CP cost of that strat. You can't use a 2 CP strat for free. It goes to 1 CP.
But because of the wording on this, right, that means that it doesn't specifically target battle tactics anymore.
It doesn't specifically target battle tactics anymore.
So this works on all stratagems now.
It looks like that, yes.
It looks like it works on all stratagems.
Unless there's something in another 1,000,000-page document somewhere, which there might be, okay?
Yeah, so I personally, we'd have to go through it, but I'm pretty sure now this means that the Captain 0 CP ability or -1 CP ability now works on everything. So if you look at the Custodes detachment where it's full of characters, none of which are battle tactics, it's a bit shit.
Auric champions just got real fucking good. There's a load of little changes that have just made Auric champions
entire detachment based on captains.
I basically almost ran Auric champions tonight instead of Dark Angels, but I'd already committed to Dark Angels because it's just got fucking good, right?
Yeah.
So this looks like it's no longer affecting battle tactics, but it just reduces it to 1 CP, so you can't do 2 CP for free. It just goes down to 1 CP. I don't think there is a 3 CP stratagem, but if it was, it would only be reduced by 1, right? Then the second part, which is a change as well. If a model has a rule that would, once per battle, increase the CP cost of an opponent's stratagem, for example, the Assassin, or I think, is it Drazar that can do it? Or one of the Dark Eldar characters can do it.
What? Fight what?
The Vect.
The Archon.
Yeah, so you can increase the stratagem cost, right? Now, each time your opponent targets a unit from your army with a stratagem, if that unit is within 12 inches of this model, increase the cost of that stratagem by 1 CP. It's actually really good for 2 reasons.
Is that also the same for the Lion?
If a model has a rule that would once per battle increase the CP cost of an opponent's stratagem, the Alliance doesn't do it once per battle.
Oh.
So what that means is you no longer pick an enemy stratagem and that becomes 2 CP or 3 CP and that's it for the rest of the game. That doesn't happen anymore. You don't pick a single stratagem, but if you're within 12 inches of that Archon, for example, all of your stratagems cost 1 CP more. I think it's really powerful now. It's a good change.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you just get bummed out when the Archon's in one corner of the table and you're doing a stratagem over and he goes, yeah, it's 1 CP more now. So I like this change. I think it's a good change, right? Stratagems that can be used more than once per turn. Part of rule that allows players, it gets wordy, doesn't it? Part of a rule that allows a player to use a stratagem, even if they've already targeted another use of that stratagem in the same phase, can only be used if the name of the stratagem is specified in that rule. Similarly, if a stratagem is limited to 1 use per player per turn, e.g. Fire Overwatch, per battle round, or per battle, such parts of that rule can only be used if the name of the stratagem is specified in that rule. This is interesting, okay? So no longer can you use a CP reroll and then use your captain to CP reroll for free. Can't do that anymore. It says if it allows you to do a stratagem, even if they've already targeted another unit with that stratagem in the same phase, can only be used if the name of the stratagem is specified in that rule. Now this is important because obviously now captains, it looks like, aren't limited to battle tactics.
Yeah.
So what they've done is they put another rule in place that says, but you can't do, if it's not a named stratagem, you can't do, so with captains specifically, you can't use a CP reroll twice or an Armour of Contempt twice, right? If, however, you've got a stratagem use, for example, because of a Phoenix Lord, I think Jane Zar lets you heroically intervene maybe or something like that. because it specifically states heroic intervention, you can do that one twice.
Yeah.
So you can pay to heroic intervene, and then she allows you to do it twice. Okay?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. So that I think is quite clear. If a stratagems prevent units from being targeted, if a stratagem has an effect that says a target unit can only be selected as the target of a ranged attack if the attacking model is within 12 inches, or cannot be targeted by ranged attacks unless the attacking model is within 12 inches, e.g. Haloed and Soulfire, that effect is changed to say can only be selected as the target of a ranged attack if the attack model is within 18. They've made it longer. Yeah. I think it kind of.
But they haven't changed lone op though, which is good.
They haven't changed lone up, no.
Yeah.
Stratagems.
So if you have an ability that gives your unit lone operative, it keeps lone operative. Kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
If a stratagem has the effect of adding a new unit to your army that is identical to your destroyed unit, e.g. join the hunt and ending waves, reinforcements, add the following restrictions to that stratagem. You can only use this stratagem once per battle. So no longer do you take tons and tons and tons of regiment units in guard and just keep paying 2 CP and bring them back, 2 CP and bring them back. So if you lose a squad of sentinels and you pay your 2 CP to bring them back, that stratagem's done now. You can't do it again.
Yeah.
Again, I think a positive change, if I'm honest. We go into faction rules. No surprise, sisters, no change. The codex has just come out. There's loads of points changes.
It's not even out. It's out this Saturday, isn't it?
It's officially out Saturday, yeah.
Yeah.
So Adeptus Custodies have got a couple of tweaks. The first one for Martial Mastery, which is your detachment rule.
Yeah, Martial
right?
Mathers.
Yeah, at the start of the battle round, you can select one of the bullet points below. If you do, if you do until the start of the next battle round, the bullet point effects apply. This is the one that was once per battle, and you got crits on 5s for or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly. Let me find it out. This was once per battle. Now it's once per battle round. Every battle round.
Oh.
It's got really fucking good. Joe's gone, oh, like, that sounds really strong. Because it is. If I go into my Adeptus Custodes, I need to remember exactly what it is. Strike Force, I don't care. What's it from? The Martial Mastery from the Shield Host. Martial Mastery. At the start of the battle round, now, you can select one of the bullet points. Each time an Adeptus Custodes model from your army with the Martial Qatar ability makes a melee attack, a successful unmodified hit roll of a 5 scores a critical hit. Improve the armor penetration, or you can pick improve the armor penetration characteristics of melee weapons equipped by Custodians models with Martial Qatar by 1. That was once per battle. It's now every battle round. Really fucking good. That went from a dog shit detachment
one unit or all
it's a whole army with Martial Qatar. It's really good, Joe. It's really like Custodies have just gone. Everyone's like, yeah, Custodians are a bit of shit again. And Games Workshop went, hold my beer, right? Because then we go into Orc Champions. Orc Champions was probably my favourite anyway.
It was the best one.
It was a character-based attack. I mean, that one, Martial Qatar, remembering that you go sustained or lethal, and you can go all game exploding on 5s now. Shield Host is good, right? Orc Champions has changed. So in your next command phase, until the start of your next command phase, each time a model in an Adeptus Custodian's character unit from your army makes an attack that targets that enemy and add 1 to the wound roll. It was previously only the character that got that benefit for +1 to wound. So if you had a character like a Blade Champion in a unit of Custodian Guard, your Custodian Guard didn't get the +1 to wound, but the character model did.
Yeah.
Now the character unit gets it. Oh shit.
I still think now the best Custodian's army is 6 squads of Custodian Guard with a character in each.
I mean, that's fucking good now, right? It's really good. Custodian's got good. There's other changes coming up later that make Custodians better again, okay? Adeptus Mechanicus has got Sisters level points treatment. Look at this nonsense, right? Loads.
I'm actually quite looking forward to running them now because they do what they should have done.
So I agree with you, but this is one of those occasions where Games Workshop owe every fucking AdMech player that bought a codex a fucking refund or a reprint. This is ridiculous. This is, we done fucked up, and we're openly admitting it. So people that got an AdMech codex with this many changes should get a refund.
Or a free box of Scutari.
I stand by this. Yeah, maybe a voucher. Yeah. Maybe a £20 voucher. I don't know. They need to get something, because this is ridiculous, right? Doctrina Imperative's army rule, Protect It Imperative and Conquer Imperative, change to range weapons equipped by models that have the heavy ability, improve the ballistic skill characteristic of range weapons equipped by models in that by 1. So you get ballistic skill +1 and you get heavy for +1 to hit.
Yeah.
Each time a melee attack targets this unit, if the unit has the battle line keyword and or it is within 6 inches of one or more friendly Adeptus Mechanicus battle line units, subtract 1 from the hit roll. That's really, really good, right? It's a great change.
It's a great change.
Conqueror Imperative. They already got the assault weapon ability. Now you improve the weapon skill of melee weapons by 1, right? And each time a model in this unit makes an attack, if that unit has a battle line keyword and or is within 6 inches of one or more friendly Adeptus Mechanical's battle line units, improve the armor penetration of that attack by 1.
Punchy robots just got well fun.
It got good, right?
They got quite punchy.
Add faction doctorate imperatives to the ability section of the following data sheets. Call Electro Priest, Fulgurite Electro Priest, Tech Priest Dominus, Tech Priest Engine Sid, Tech Priest Manipulus, Techno Archaeologist. They should have all had that anyway.
That means you need to get those 20 Jazz Hand priests done. That are in
Yeah,
my
they
garage.
should have all had that anyway, right? Belisarius' move characteristics now gone to change to 8. Change the mantra of discipline. This model has the battle line keyword and has the following ability, right? It's just, they've changed loads.
But the most important, I think, is for the Sikaran units.
Who have gone up to 3 attacks here and 5 attacks here, and they were on 2 attacks,
Yeah.
and they're up to strength 5.
Yeah. They're actually a close combat-based unit now.
Who actually now can do close combat.
Yeah.
Who'd have fucking thought it, right? And there's a load of other weapons changes. We won't go into all of it. They're good now. They're not. I don't know if they're perfect, but this is one. Good job, GW, for noticing that the book was absolute dog shit and making major changes. 2, you owe your AdMech fans
The
something.
eradication beam is bloody good now as well on a Gajoon crawler.
It's all right, isn't it? It's
like,
not bad. Yeah. Okay, cool. We're not gonna wait hold on that one for too long. There's a lot of weapon changes there. If you've got the app, obviously the app will update. I just feel so. And if you've got the app and the app updates, then that means you bought a codex. I'd be tempted to email them and be like, "You pack of cunts. You clearly realise that this was dog shit. You owe me some fucking money, arseholes." Maybe don't word it like that, but you know.
But
you get
I
the
don't think
idea.
they'll take it too great.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, a slight tweak to enhancement for Aldari, not a massive issue. We knew already that infantry with D6. This hasn't got a plus. This isn't a new change, okay? There's a point to note. No plus, not a new change. No new change here, no new change here, no new changes on Aldari in general. No new changes on...
No. So these have... Because there's no pluses next to the guard stuff, but the guard stuff has changed if you go down.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a plus
there's
there.
a plus there, okay.
Yeah.
Not a red plus
So
there.
voice of command hasn't changed.
No, so it
but
means
the
you can do orders in transport.
But the plus here has changed. Born soldiers, this one, so this I'm more okay with, because this one is an index change, not a codex change.
Yeah.
I'm more okay with this one, as long as when the fucking codex doesn't come out, when it comes out, it doesn't have the old rule in it again, then I'd be pissed off. Right? Each of the model...
But this is a detachment rule.
Yes.
So looking historically, this detachment will probably be in the codex.
I'd hope so.
Yeah.
Each time a regiment unit from your army makes a range attack that targets a visible unit excluding monsters and vehicles, it has lethal hits. Each time a squadron model makes a range attack that targets monsters or vehicle units, has lethal hits. They've removed the requirement to stand still to get lethals.
Good.
But depending on the type of unit firing, depends on what you get lethals against. Yeah. So guardsmen, this is narratively, I think, spot on. Guardsmen with Lask rifles won't get lethals against tanks. No. But they get lethals against Hormagaunts.
Yeah.
A Leman-Russ battle tank won't get lethals against Hormagaunts, but it will get lethals against a Carnifex.
Yeah.
Good change. Right?
It makes complete sense.
Yeah. Templars have got a couple of changes. It's mostly to the Impulsor and the Repulsor.
So this is good. This is a good change.
Okay.
Right? Because the current transport capacity of a Impulsor is 6.
Yep.
So you can take 6 Blade Guard or 3 Blade Guard and a Captain.
Yeah.
And a Lieutenant. But so you're never maxing it out. By taking it as a 7, you can now go 6 Blade Guard and a character.
Yeah, that is a good change. And the Repulsor has matched that with 14 now as the slots available.
Yeah.
Which is decent, right? Blood Angels, not a new change. We know they've got 2 to their strength attacks. Army rules for Chaos Knights have changed, right? Super Heavy Walker ability. This is... I don't know how I feel about this one. It's kind of made one of their stratagems a little bit kind of pointless almost. Okay?
Yeah.
So the changes specifically, right? Each time this model has made a normal advance or fallback move, it can move 3 models, excluding Titanic models, and sections of terrain features that are 4 inches or less. Important to note. When doing so, it can move within engagement range of enemy models, but cannot end the move within engagement range of them. Okay, we knew that anyway.
Yeah.
And then the change. It can also move through sections of terrain features that are more than 4 inches in height, any ruin on the table. But if it does, after it has moved, roll 1d6. On a 1, that model is battle shocked. So now all super heavy walkers, because Imperial Knight's got this too, can move through ruins as if they're not there, and they just take a battle shock test, and on a 1 they're battle shocked. Which, don't get me wrong, you probably want to use some of the stratagems. I use a lot of stratagems in combat. So if I'm moving through a wall and then charging, I'll probably want to use a stratagem. Don't want to be battle shocked. But on the 2+, I'm not battle shocked.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge for big stompy robots.
It's amazing.
It's very good.
What I like specifically about this is it encourages you to take big knights again. Because every time you see like an event or something's gone on and say, oh, Chaos Knights did really well. What they're running? 12 armored style knights. You know, ugh. I want big boy knights in my knight army.
Yeah.
I don't want the squires. I want the chunky boys.
I want the chunky boys.
So
I made a list yesterday with just 4 chunky boys and nothing else.
Well, Imperial Knights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No armor, just
I'm doing
boys.
the Chaos Knights. You're doing the Imperial Knights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are more chaotic than me. You can tell. There's a change to the Warp Talon's ability. It was a little bit complicated. If this unit was eligible to fight, but is no longer in engagement range, blah, blah, blah. Now it just says at the end of the fight phase, if this unit destroyed one of my enemy units this phase and is not within engagement range. So as long as they kill a unit not in engagement range.
I don't like this rule for Warp Talons because everyone else's redeploy is just it happens. If you're not in engagement range, you can redeploy. Whereas Warp Talons, you have to kill something for their ability to go off.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a bit strict.
Yeah.
In terms of what they do, because it means that if you want if you want to do Ubby Downy, the whole game, if you're doing this competitively, is that they have to just run around killing little shit units.
Yeah. Chaos Demons has got a slight change to Shadow of Chaos. While an enemy unit is within your army Shadow of Chaos and/or it is within 6 inches of one or more Bloodthirster, Great Unclean One, Kairos, Fate Weaver, Keeper of Secrets, Lord of Change, Rotterdam, Slaxy Heber, any Greater Demon unit from your army, each time that unit takes a Battle Shock test, subtract 1 from the test. If the test has failed, the enemy unit suffers 3 mortal wounds. It makes the Greater Demons a bit better now.
Yeah, it makes them a bit like narratively a bit more.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I like it.
Yeah.
I do like it. That was not a new change. That's a normal change. Demonic Incursion Detachment Warp Rift Detachment rule is a new change. Each time a Legion Demonic unit from your army is set up on the battlefield using the Deep Strike ability, if it's set up wholly within your army Shadow of Chaos and/or is set up wholly within 6 inches of one or more Bloodthirster, Greater Demon essentially, units with it shares the Khorne's each Nurgle / keyword, it could be set up anywhere that is more than 6 inches horizontally. So if you're not in Shadow of Chaos, but you've got a Bloodthirster in the middle of the table and you're deep striking in 10 bloodletters, you can still jump deep strike within 6 because you're within range of a Greater Demon of Khorne.
I really like that rule.
What you can't do is deep strike Zeech Flamers next to the Bloodthirster of Khorne, so don't share the same keyword. This is a really cool narrative change.
I like it.
I'm a big fan of this change. I think it's a really cool narrative change, right? Bloodthirster and Scarbrand, while a friendly Legion Demonica unit within 6 inches of this model, that unit is within your army Shadow of Chaos. Really nice as well because of how stratagems work.
Yeah.
So stratagems get better if you're within your Shadow of Chaos. Basically, if a Khorne unit is within range of a Bloodthirster or a Greater Demon, if a Nurgle unit is in range of a Greater Demon, etc., they count as being in Shadow of Chaos. Another major change is cool narrative. The whole Chaos Demon stuff is more narratively better, and it makes demons a bit better as well. I don't know how much help they needed, but yeah, they're better now.
Yeah.
Dark Angels.
I think Dark Angels are possibly the best Space Marines.
Dark Angels have had quite a few changes, actually.
Glow up.
Again, slightly annoying because they have a codex, right? Grim Resolve has changed. In your command phase, select one Adeptus starting unit from your army. At the start of your next command phase, add 1 to the objective control characteristic models in that unit. Okay? Cool, whatever, fine.
Well, it used to be if they failed a battleship test, they always do Leadership 1, wasn't it? Now...
But you add this. It's not instead of. So you add this.
Dark Angels Intercessors, OC3.
Yeah.
If you've got a Panner in the unit, OC4.
Yeah, but if they're
take this objective off me.
But Dark Angels Deathwing Knights, you battle shock them, they go down to OC1, add this or OC2.
Yeah.
Because you can do that even on the battle shock. This doesn't restrict you from being battle shock. So Unforgiving's a bit better. But Inner Circle, Vowed Target. Now this is the one I was using anyway. This was my favourite detachment rule. What it used to be was you pick a single objective on the battlefield and Inner Circle units get +1 to wound. It's changed now. At the start of your movement phase, not your command phase, at the start of your movement phase, select one of the following. So it happens after battle shock. So you know if you are or aren't controlling an objective, right? Defensive footing. Select one objective marker you control until the start of your next movement phase. That objective marker is your vowed objective. So select one that you control, that's your vowed objective, but you have to control it already. Or you can select aggressive push. It's what Joe does on a Saturday night in nightclubs. Select one or more objective markers you do not control. One or more objective markers you do not control. Until the start of your next movement phase, each of those objective markers is one of your vowed objective markers. If a rule refers to a unit or model being in range of your vowed objective marker, that rule takes effect if that unit or model is in range of one or more of your vowed objective markers. So you basically go, I'm going to pick that one, which I control, or you're going to go, I'm going to pick all of the ones I don't control.
Yeah.
All of them. And they're all vowed now.
So good. So stupidly good.
It's fucking mental!
Yeah.
Each time a Deathwing infantry unit from your army makes an attack, the target's unit within range of one or more of your vowed objective markers, add 1 to the wound roll. So I feel like we're probably going to predominantly see people going, I'm just picking all the ones I'm not on. Because the idea of the game is to go and take objectives, ultimately, right? Yep. That's not all, though, Deathwing players, right? Deathwing Knights melee weapons. Oh. They got significantly nerfed when the Codex came out compared to what they were previously, and people were kind of complaining about them, and I was still using them and loving them. Remember this?
Yeah.
Chat? I was using them before they were cool, right? I was using Maces of Absolution. Anti-Monster 4+, Anti-Vehicle 4+ is new, right? And they've gone to AP2.
So good. So good.
The swords, which were dog shit because they were 1 damage, have now at least gone to 2 damage. You do gain 1 more attack. But why would you give up Anti-Monster, Anti-Vehicle 4+?
It's just too efficient. It's because you always take the maces because if you're
why?
going,
Why? I've got a point in it to make. Go on, why?
Right, because if you're going out for a day to a tournament or something, you don't know what you're playing against, right?
Yeah.
So you go, well, what if I come against a knight player? My sword's going to be toilet. Well,
Okay.
I've got maces now.
So knights are an exception. Okay, I'll explain why. What is the toughness of the majority of tanks in 10th edition 40k?
12.
10 or 11.
10 or 11, yeah.
Yeah, 12 is knight levels. 12 and 13 are knight levels. The majority of tanks are 10 or 11, right? What strength are they?
6.
How many objective markers can you now have as a vowed objective marker? Loads.
Yeah.
What do you get? +1 a wound.
Yeah.
What's strength 6 and +1 a wound wounding a tank on its toughness 10?
4, isn't it?
4+.
Yeah.
So you could go swords and get an extra attack and still be wounding on 4+.
Yeah.
If you've got vowed objective. If you don't have vowed objective though, the anti-vehicle, anti-monster 4+ is really, really nice.
Yeah.
And obviously the anti-vehicle 4+, you are fully correct. Where we had this discussion last night on the channel. People are like, knights are too tough. You have to take anti-tank weapons. They've got a 5 invulnerable save. If you're trying to shoot knights off the board, you're doing it wrong. You get in melee and you kill them in melee because they don't have any invulnerable save whatsoever.
Yeah.
So you push Deathwing Knights into actual Imperial Knights with anti-vehicle 4+ -2 damage. Bang, dead. See you later.
Dead. Yeah.
Right? Inner Circle Companions melee weapons. Change the Caliber Knight Greatsword to. They've gone to -2 AP as well.
Strength 6 -2 damage 2. I told you it was a typo because that's like what everything else is. So and they're lethal hits.
Honestly, they just got good. Dark Angels.
The sweep
tasty.
profile is strong as well.
The sweep profile is strong as well. Yeah, absolutely. This is when I read these. Wouldn't anti-vehicle become 3+ in Valve? No. So if it's an anti-vehicle 4+ rule, it doesn't get modified with a wound modifier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the 4+ is based on a critical hit, and you cannot modify a critical hit with a plus or a minus.
Exactly. Yeah. So no, it doesn't become 3+. It stays at 4+.
Death Guard aren't changed.
Death Guard haven't changed. I think there's some points changes apart from the Putrefier.
It's once per battle round.
Yeah, once per battle round, you can target one unit from your with the grenade stratagem for 0 CP. Grenade stratagem has also changed, right? Death Watch, I don't remember there being any changes.
No.
I like that they have to put that in there. Drakari, no
changed.
changes. Gene-Seed Occults, no changes. Good, new codex. Grey Knights, Brotherhood Librarian, Vortex of Doom. Change it to, in your shooting phase, you can select one enemy unit within 18 inches of visible to the Psyker, excluding units with the lone operative ability that are part of an attached unit or are not within 12 inches of the Psyker. If you do, carry on. It's a bit more protection for lone up there rather than getting sniped by fucking Vortexes of Dooms. Imperial Knights have got the same super heavy walker change that we saw for Chaos Knights. They can walk through ruins, but they'll take a battle shock test. It's a nice change. I think it's a narrative change. It's a nice change, that one. Leagues of Votan didn't change.
Nope.
Necrons, the Cosmic Precision stratagem is now changed. One Necron unit from your army, excluding monster that is arriving using Deep Strike or Hyper Phasing ability this phase. Cool. Green Tide. All right, Orcs. Another moment to get pissed off. Chat, if you're an Orcs player who's got a new Orc Codex, guess what? When it came out, we all went, that's a bit fucking good. And apparently the morons that write rules for a living didn't see that. I don't know how everyday normal people see it and they don't, but nonetheless, they've now changed it, but it does mean your codex is now already out of date. Good job, GW. Mob mentality detachment rule. Each time an attack targets a boys unit from your army, models in that unit have a 6+ invulnerable save against that attack. Each time an attack targets a boys unit from your army that contains 10 or more models in that unit have a 5+ invulnerable save. They've toned the invulnerable save down slightly. The Tide of Muscle stratagem. Until the end of the phase, each time a unit declares a charge, add 1 to the charge roll, and if your unit contains 10 or more models, you can re-roll the charge roll. Tone that down slightly.
Yeah.
The Go Get 'em stratagem, you can re-roll the D6 to determine how far your unit can move, is quite nice.
Yeah.
Mega Knobs. The one that I don't think anybody is
Surprised by
genuinely surprised by. Crumping time. During the battle round in which you call a war, models in this unit have a Feel No Pain 5+, obviously previously 4+.
Yeah, we talked about this before. We even talked about it when we played the Orcs here. We always said that, look, if having a 5+ Feel No Pain in a unit is great. If I said to you, if you put this one model in your unit, it goes from having no Feel No Pain to a 5 Feel No Pain, you'd be like, that's really fucking good.
Yeah.
Right, I will take that.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you very much. So 4+, it was insane.
Yeah.
So we said it just needs to be a 5-up and it'll be fine.
Well, I mean, I still categorically think they probably should come to us for some rules-based consultation, Joe, because we say a lot of things and they typically happen to find themselves in updates.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I'm going to be back in a moment.
Space Marines have got a slight change, so the targeting or a web enhancement is no longer an aura. You pick a single Adeptus Society's vehicle within 6 inches of barrel, and then instead of the end of the phase, it has lethal hits. Master of Machine enhancement, you delete aura. In your command phase, select one Astartes vehicle. The aura stuff was just too powerful. They've got rid of the aura stuff. It's a positive change. Mercy's weakness, CP cost has gone up to 2 CP. Desolation squad unit composition is 1 sergeant, 4 Desolation Marines, a change. I think it used to be 4 to 9. Impulsor, Repulsor, same changes for obviously the Death Watch. All right, Space Wolves, not Death Watch, Templars, same. All right. Champions of Rust attachment. This has changed. So at the moment, if you remember, they already changed it from when it came out. They've changed it again, okay? At the start of the first battle round, select one of the sagas listed below, excluding Saga of Majesty. That saga is considered to be completed by your army, and all Adeptus Astartes models from your army gain the associated benefits until the end of the battle. So now you get to pick one of those 4 sagas, and you just get it straight away. You don't have to complete the associated deed, you just get it immediately. Pick a saga, go straight away, right? You get it, great. At the end of each player's turn, you can select one of the sagas listed below, excluding the saga selected at the start of the first battle round. If it was completed, you gain it. That's no different. It's just that during that turn, rather than the red lettering is no real different there. So you can pick Warrior Born, Saga of the Bear, or Saga of the Beast Slayer now at the start of the game, and you get it for your whole army.
It's so good.
So if you pick Beast Slayer, for example, at the start of the battle round, your whole army has lethal hits. If you pick Warrior Born, your whole army has sustained hits. And if you pick Saga of the Bear, your whole army has a 6-up Feel No Pain. Right?
It's so incredibly good, and it's coming at a time where Space Wolves are already in a bit of a resurgence at the moment.
Yeah.
Because one of them, because everyone has I think they're calling it Wolf Jail or something, because in one of the detachments from the Marine Codex, Thunderwolves can turbo boost. So they can move something like 20 inches in a turn and then charge.
Yeah.
So people just go, here's a massive unit of Thunderwolf cav with a character in it. Deal with that.
Well,
and then next turn, here's another unit. And it's so this just actually brings Space Wolves up to a position where they're actually massively efficient.
I feel like this little change actually makes the Champions of Rust attachment no longer I'll just take a normal Space Marine one. You look at it and you go, actually, this is pretty good. Give my whole army sustained hit straight away. Give my whole army lethal hit straight away.
Yeah.
And the important thing is at the start of the first battle round, so you can look at your opponent. Oh, I'm playing knights. Lethal hits everywhere.
Yeah.
I think it's really good now.
I'd actually argue that it's better than the Chaos Space Marine Army rule.
And we're saying this, because you don't have to take
a session. You just get it.
We're saying this as a channel that has only ever used the Champions of Rust attachment with our Space Wolves anyway.
Yeah.
Right? It's just got better.
And Brom's already getting too big for his boots.
He is, yeah. Tau Empire, no changes. Not sure if that's a surprise or not to me. I feel like Tau came out and we haven't heard loads about it.
Yeah, Tau, I've literally never hear anybody talking about Tau. Ever.
No, which means I normally think that means the Codex is in an okay
Well,
place.
that's what I said. Like no news is good news.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Everyone's only doom and gloom at the moment.
Yeah.
So Thousand Suns have had some changes. When I say some changes, I mean lots of changes. Again, so Cabal of Sorcerers, change the last sentence of the first paragraph to each time you use a ritual, select 1,000 Sun cycle model from your army, excluding models that have already been selected for this rule this turn. So you can't use more than one Kabbalistic ritual per psyker. I kind of wish that had at least been lifted on Magnus, because he's Magnus, but cool, that's the rule now.
Yeah.
Twist of Fate has changed to it's in your shooting phase, select one enemy unit with 8 inches invisible to the psyker. Until the end of the phase, each time a 1,000 model from your army makes a ranged attack that targets that unit, improve the armor penetration characteristic of that attack by 2.
Is that the one that turned off their armor save?
Yes.
So instead of having no armor save, you still get a save, but
It's AP2 now, right?
well, actually no, it's AP3 because their bolt guns are AP1.
Oh, improve the armor. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Okay. Doom Bolt has changed. 7 Cabal points. Use this ritual to start your shooting phase. Select one unit with 8 inches invisible to psyker, excluding units with a lone operative ability that are not part of an attached unit and are not within 12 inches of the psyker. Roll a d6. On a 1, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. On a 2 to 5, that enemy unit suffers d3 plus 3 mortal wounds. On a 6, that enemy unit suffers d3 plus 6 mortal wounds. Okay? So, you know what? It's better, I think, because I don't like the idea that you can snipe lone up with Doom Bolt.
Yeah.
That's gone away now. Temporal Surge, right? You can use a Kabbalistic ritual. You can move it, as we know. The same unit cannot be selected for this ritual more than once per phase. Not a massive surprise, because if you used your little, I think it was, I can't remember what it was, allowed you to do a Kabbalistic ritual twice. People were double temporal surging the same unit. Guess what? You can't do that. That sounds like a broken thing. You cheaty fucking bastards. Now it's been proven. Exalted Sorcerer's Disc of Zeech, Blinding Tendrils ability. In your shooting phase after this model has shot, select one enemy unit from excluding monsters or vehicles hit by one or more of those attacks made with its arcane fire. Just hit, by the way. So start your next turn, that enemy unit is pinned. While a unit is pinned, subtract 2 from its move characteristics and subtract 2 from its charge rolls made for it. Cool rule. We move into an area where Joe gets quite excited, and you're now about to see. You're about to see why Joe's bringing Tyranids tonight. Surprise! Okay, Tyranids. Lots of little changes. Synapse Army rule. Okay. We know the majority of Synapse, right? Synapse currently means if you're in Synapse range, you roll 3d6 on your leadership test. Now, also, while a Tyranid unit from your army is within Synapse range of your army, each time it takes a battle shock test, take a test on 3d6. Cool.
Yep.
Each time a model that unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to the strength of that attack.
So good. It's insanely good.
Is it? You keep saying this to me. I'm like, it's all right.
Right. So you got to think about this, right? So Hormagaunts are currently strength 3.
Yeah.
I think they might. I can't remember if they've got an AP on, but it now means that they're strength 4. Right. And you're like, but that means nothing, Joe.
Yeah.
No. What it does, it means that fighting Eldar, right? Fighting Sisters of Battle, fighting Guard, right? You're wounding them on 3s now in combat.
Okay.
Which is massive, because you were 50-50, now it's there's a 1 in 3 chance of failure.
66-33, yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really strong, right? But it also means, because there's a little change just off to the side there, right? If you look up to where it says Broodlord and Parasite of Mortrex, so you change the data sheets to show Faction Shadow and Warp, and then keywords, add the following to both data sheets. Synapse.
I mean, it makes Gene Stealers better.
So the Broodlord is now a Synapse creature, which means that the units of Gene Stealers is with are always in Synapse range.
Well, also, if you have another unit of Gene Stealers within 6 inches of that unit of Gene Stealers that have the Broodlord in it, they also are within Synapse
Which means
range.
that Gene Stealers are now always strength 5. Right, so his narratively, I really like this, right? Because narratively, in the stories, like, because of Space Hulk, right? Gene Stealers are supposed to be able to tear open Terminators like bean cans, right? Just no problem, just murdering. Currently, they're wounding them on 5s, right? And they're only wounding Space Marines on 4s, which is a bit meh. Now, they're wounding Space Marines on 3s and Terminators on 4s. And they can get a reroll if they're on objectives. So much better, so much stronger. Carnifexes has become a little bit more spicy, you know. Von Ryans go from strength 5 to strength 6.
If they're within Synapse, we use it
If they're in Synapse range, right? But it means that it means that like Von Ryan's now going to like stroke 6 means that they can actually wound vehicles and much larger monsters better.
So it is a good change.
I think it's a really strong change that people don't realise how good it is.
I absolutely don't realise how good it is. I think it's a strong change, but you get so excited about it. I'm like, I don't think it's that strong, but I think it is strong. Shadow of the Warp has also been adapted slightly. So now, in addition to what we already know that it does, each time an enemy unit takes a battle shock test, if it's within 6 inches of one or more synapse units from your army, subtract 1 from that test.
That's really
right.
good.
So that's when you call your Shadow of the Warp.
Yes, so once per turn game ability. So,
once per turn game ability, every single enemy unit on the battlefield takes a battle shock test, and now is at -1 as well.
Yeah, with their individual unit. But if you've got a neuro tyrant on the table,
which nowadays you're going to have more on that in a minute.
Yeah, means you'll be -2.
Yeah.
On if you're near a unit. If you've got Death Leaper, he also has an aura of -1.
Yeah.
So if any units near him, if there's a Neuro Tyrant on the table, will be -3 to those.
And you're going to take a Neuro Tyrant now. We'll talk about that in just a moment, right?
Yeah.
So the Crusher Stampede has been changed. So each time a Tyranid monster from your army makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. And if that model's unit is below starting strength, add 1 to the wound roll, as well as if that model's unit is below half strength. In addition, while that Tyranid monster unit from your army, excluding battle shock units, is at its starting strength, add 2 to the OC. So basically, the old rule meant that until you started getting wounded, it made no effect at all.
Yeah.
Now, if you're at starting strength, you get 2 to your OC.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's an alright change.
But it means that so Carnifexes come in broods of 2, so that they don't count as being under starting strength until 1 is dead.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's technically always at full strength whilst 2 of them are on the table.
Yeah.
So it means that your Carnifexes become like OC4, OC5
Yeah.
then. Very
The Undrummer Ferocity stratagem has changed a lot. Each time a model in your unit makes a normal move, advance, or fallback, it can move through models, excluding Tyrant models, Titanic models, and sections of terrain features that are 4 inches or less in height. When doing so, it can move within engagement range. It can also move through. It gets the Chaos Knight rule.
So you're a bit.
Oh, the Imperial Knight rule. It can move through terrain that's more than 4 inches tall with the stratagem, but if you do, you roll a d6 and on a 1 you're battle shocked.
Yeah, but it means the Carnifexes, you used to have the living battering ram rule, can charge through walls now.
Hive Tyrant's Onslaught ability is an aura, while a friendly Tyranid unit within 6 inches of model range weapons have the Assault and Lethal Hits ability. Range weapons.
That's really good.
Neurolictor gains Synapse. Neuro Tyrant. This is the reason why you take them now. Why did you not take them in the past? Because their bodyguards were either Hive Guard, which were fucking expensive, or the little brain plugs, which no one likes.
Yeah, which are toughness 3, and because of the Neuro Tyrant is toughness 8.
Yeah.
Right.
But the unit becomes toughness 3.
Yeah. So when you're shooting at him and his unit with bolt guns, you're wounding him on 3.
Yeah, but now, not only can he be attached to Neuro Gaunts that no one uses or Tyrant Guard that are super expensive despite not really doing much, you could attach him to Zoanthropes. And that's important, because what does a Neuro Tyrant give a unit, Joe?
+1 to hit.
+1 to hit.
Right? And if it's shooting at a unit that's battle shocked, it's +1 to wound.
Yes. So now, Zoanthropes are going to be hitting with a Neuro Tyrant in there. They're going to be hitting 1 better with their Brain Las cannons.
Yeah, so they're hitting on 2s.
And if he's on the tabletop and you call Shadow in the Warp, the whole army takes Battle Shock test at -2 now.
Yeah.
And if you're shooting at them with the same Zoanthropes that are now hitting on 2s, they also get +1 a wound.
Yeah, right.
Spicy.
And guess what? Zoanthropes doing their blast profile, right? They're now hitting on 2s. If they're stood next to a Hive Tyrant that's on foot, if they're shooting an infantry unit, they can get sustained and lethal hits.
Mm-hmm. We've gone through the Broodlord and the Parasite. Morlock, Raveners, Trigons all gain Vanguard Invader, which they should have had from the start. Mm-hmm. The Exocrine range weapons has gone up to strength 9. The Tyrannofix's range weapon damage has become D6 +6.
It was 2d6. So
D6.
now it's
much better, yeah. Now it's not just take the flame and why not. Okay, World Eaters, no changes, no pluses in there. That's the end of the balanced data slate. So let's go back to our... Hang on. Oh, hang on. I'll be with you in a moment, chat. 2 seconds, look, connecting.
Oh, so whilst they're doing that, I will go through our super chats and gifted. Thank you, Evan Tominello, for 1 gifted membership. Thank you, Kenneth Evans, for 1 gifted membership. Your hero. Thank you, Tom Mitchell, for the super chat. It says, rest in peace, Mega Knobs. Welcome back, Custodes. Yeah.
You fucking gave me
I wonder what you'll be running on Sunday at the tournament. He's coming. I managed to convince him to come to the tournament on Sunday.
Yeah?
Yeah. Thank you, Sam Runnacles. Runnacles. Stuff Dark Angels. We want heroic custards. I mean, custard's strong now.
I mean, I could use Custodians tonight instead of Dark Angels.
You use whatever you want.
What do you want, chat? Tell me.
Yeah. What is Ian running? Custodes or Dark
Custodians
Angels?
or Dark Angels? Tell me now.
Thank you, Dave B. I've just got a semi over the guard. Let me play. So, are we going to do the rules update, by the way?
We're going to do, the next part we do is so I can get rid of that one now. We can do the core rules updates.
Right. We're going to go through a core rules update where I feel like Games Workshop may have made a mistake. And I'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Seth Bacon. Very excited to see the new Deathwing Knights on the table. I mean, they're a beautiful model that was released and then had terrible rules and were massively overpointed when they came out.
It made me really sad because I'm such a Deathwing Knight fan.
Now they're efficiently pointed and an actual good unit on the table. Like, really good.
You
should have set up a poll.
I'll do your poll. I mean, it's kind of split right now. I'm getting the feeling it's more Custodes than it is.
It's starting to look a bit more Custodes heavy.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Sam, anyway, by the way.
Thank you, Slink Blackout 4. Joe, what are your thoughts on the new Hurricane Jaegers at 80 points? I think 2 units of 10 is really spicy with 3 times Pioneers, plus the models are sick. The models are sick. I do really like the models. I do have a unit of 10 to build and paint to add to the Votan.
Your favourite faction?
My favourite faction. I just find Votan really boring to play with. I 100% honestly, I really struggle with shooting armies.
So everything that you play is boring because it's 3 of this, 3 of this, 3 of this. Grenade strat, tank shock strat, job done.
Because they're really good. Why wouldn't I? It's strong. No, I don't run through it.
We are still, to this day, we're still slowly thrashing the VT out of him. One day we'll actually get Joe just playing.
No, right. Every time I bring a fun army, like one of everything.
Prove it, when?
You lot are always like, cool, I'm going to curb stomp you now because I've got a perfect counter to whatever you've bought. Every single fucking time. It does my head in. So I'm not allowed to have fun because when I do have fun, they just beat me for it. So I'm just going to do a Brom.
I can't type because I haven't got a keyboard. Carry on.
Can you not copy, paste, copy, paste?
I don't know. No, look.
Oh.
Or maybe.
But if you close that...
Hang on, I need a title for the actual poll.
So, Elijah Patrick, you've been chosen for, with your, poll.
You're the chosen one.
Yeah. This is amazing. We found a way around.
We have found a way of making a poll, but we need chat to play with us.
Yeah.
We made it work, Jay. Look at that. With no keyboard. Elijah said, "Yeah, do a poll." So we did a poll.
Yeah. So chat now. Do the poll. Right. I think they're good. They're a fun little unit. I think I would prefer. Like I like the models for the bikes, but I just find that the bikes just die so quickly. To the point where I'm like, every time I use them, I'm like, I wish I'd never bought them. Because they just turn up and someone just goes, "You're dead," because they're like a 4-up save.
Yeah.
But I think the infantry unit is much more efficient because they hide better.
The poll, chat, by the way, is for which army I use tonight, just so you're aware, in
Yeah.
case you've just joined us, because we're over 400 people watching.
And thank you, Wee Man, for 5 gift memberships. I hope the faction that you play is now efficient but not broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I hope.
Yeah.
If it's broken, stop playing it.
Okay.
Thank you, Just Jupiter, for 1 gift of membership.
Okay.
Wasn't there a film called Just Jupiter?
Did we have another 2 1s, didn't we, beforehand as well?
Yeah, Everton Manolo and Kenneth Evans.
So we're at 92.
We are at 92.
Amazing. People, 92 members. 8 away from 100 gifted memberships in another Liam and Joe show.
Ali Bongo missed the start of the stream, clearly. I've dressed like this because we got to 100 members last stream, and then Liam promised if we did, he'd buy me an entire Lidl outfit.
Which I did.
Yeah, with matching trainers.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Okay. So that was the balanced data slate, right? That's one of the updates.
I think Space Wolves got off really well on this one. I think AdMech will probably be a lot more efficient. Thank you, Rostanero, for 20 gifted members.
20 more? 20. Jesus Christ, he did 50 on Tuesday.
I know.
He's taking fucking John's title. Thank you so much, Rostanero.
Yeah. What have you done?
I broke things.
What have you done?
I caught my mouse. It's fine.
Is
We're
it
still
fine?
working.
But I can't see the thing. That's that. Okay. All right. I think Ross and Aaron needs to lay off the sauce.
Rostanero, you're an absolute fucking legend. Thank you so much for 20 more
you.
gifted. You legend. We're over 100, Joe.
We are.
There's 112 now.
Does this mean I get to go charity shop shopping now?
No, I said by 2 o'clock.
Oh.
It's 40 minutes late, Joe.
Okay.
I think you're right. I think Space Wolves did quite well out of it. I think Tyrannus did really well out of it. I think Deathwing specifically did quite well out of it. I think AdMech obviously did quite well out of it. I think Custodians have done quite well out of it.
I think Tyranids did great.
Yeah.
I think this is a good step in the right direction.
Yeah. But there's a lot more changes.
There are a lot more changes, which and as we learned before, with how Custodes got absolutely fucking nerfed before, now it's this similar situation's happening in the opposite direction, isn't it? From their index where they got nerfed to the ground. Now additional roles changes are pushing Custodes back up.
Will, thank you so much for 10 more. What's going on? Thank you for 10 more gifted.
I hope, Will, that
What's happening, Joe?
I don't know.
It's the outfit. It's got to be the outfit.
I hope it's the outfit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Will.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope, Will, that next time you go to a charity shop, they have Warhammer in it. Of the faction that you like.
Sealed in box, but for about 20% of the price.
Yeah. Or they have a whole book collection of Black Library books that someone's donated. There used to be a time about 10, 11 years ago where you couldn't go into a charity shop without seeing a copy of False Gods.
Yeah.
Because the first 3 heresy books were in every charity shop ever.
Yeah.
It was mad.
So they also had, I said to you before, we had like 33 emails come through.
Yeah.
So as well as every single faction having an updated FAQ page, we had, this is a contentious document for me. We had this one, Core Rules Updates version 1.1 with Rules Commentary versions 1.3. So the detail is the same. Compared to the last update, if it has a plus, it's new. Okay? If it doesn't have a plus, it's not new. I will warn you, this is a big document nowadays.
That's what they say about.
This is a big document that you have to use alongside your core rulebook, right? It annoys me, but we are here. This is where we are. So bear with me.
Thank you, Jed Naughty, for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you so much, mate. Thank you. You're a legend.
I hope that when you go to Tesco's, they're giving away free samples of fudge.
No, there's a strong chance today, chat, that the Liam and Joe show is going to run over slightly because it's currently 20 to finish and we've got this to go through. And it is a big old 33-page document that you have to use, as well as having the core rulebook and the balanced data set that we've just seen, and your codex, and your fucking faction FAQ. You know, 10th edition, that edition, they say, well, you need less books now. You do, you're right, you need less books.
Kinotu says that the Prior Nexus deck is going to be wrong on launch.
No, well, that's not entirely true. The Prior Nexus deck is correct on launch, but I think the mission pack changes part of it.
Yeah.
Annoying. So redeployments. Rules that allow players to read. So this is new. It's got a little plus here, right? Rules that allow players to redeploy certain units after both armies are deployed, e.g. here in Black Heart's Red Corsair's ability, are always resolved after the deploy army step. and before the determine first turn step, before determining who has the first turn. When a player uses such a rule, they remove the unit from the battlefield and deploy them again using all the normal rules. Blah blah blah. That units players alternate resolve such. So you just do it before you know who's going first. So no longer can you deploy. I'm not going first. I'm moving everything out of the way.
Yeah.
Can't do that anymore, right? Unit coherency, second paragraph, has changed. If for any reason model can't be set up in unit coherency or cannot be set up following any restrictions stated by other rules, e.g. while setting up using the destrike ability, that unit cannot be set up. Okay, cool.
I do think that redeployment thing is based on the fact, what they seem to be doing, right, is there's lots of rules in the game that happen at different steps, but they're similar.
Yes.
So there's a lot of stratagems, which are, you can redeploy before you roll off, and some is more done after you roll off, and some are like done in the first command phase. Now it's just like, it happens now, and this is when it happens, which I'm a big fan of. Like everyone, like, so you're not kind of caught out, because you'll be like, oh, I thought that happened this time. There's lots of arguments at the table, whereas now everyone's the same, can't get caught out.
Out of phase rules. Some rules allow a model or unit to move, shoot, charge, or fight outside of the normal turn sequence. For example, the fire overwatch stratagem enables you to shoot in your opponent's turn as if it were your shooting phase. When using out of phase rules to perform an action as if it were one of your phases, you cannot use any other rules that are normally triggered in that phase. Any other rules that are triggered in that phase. Interestingly, things like sustained, etc., all count, because that's when you make an attack, not in the shooting phase. But anything that says in the shooting phase or in the fight phase, you can't use, because it's an out of phase rule, right?
Yeah.
So I think clearer-ish.
But go down, because I think there's some examples.
In your opponent's movement phase, you use the fire overwatch stratagem to enable a whirlwind from your army to shoot as if it were your shooting phase. The whirlwind has the pinning bombardment ability, which is used in your shooting phase after this model has shot. Because fire overwatch is an out-of-phase rule, it only allows the whirlwind to perform a specified action, in this case shooting, as if it were your shooting phase, and does not trigger any other rules that would normally be used in your shooting phase. This means the whirlwind's pinning bombardment ability has no effect when resolving these attacks, and you could not use any stratagems that are used in your shooting phase.
Yeah.
So if it has sustained, you can use sustained, because that's when this model makes an attack, which you're doing, but you can't then, for example, reduce movement as someone's charging, okay? Persisting effects. Some rules apply an effect that lasts until a certain duration has passed. Such effects are known as persistent effects. If a persistent effect applies to a unit when it embarks on a transport, make a note of that effect and its duration. If that unit disembarks for any reason, any persisting effects continue to apply to that unit for their full duration. If the persisting effect applies to an attached unit and that unit ceases to be an attached unit because either all of its bodyguard models or all of its leader models are destroyed, any persisting effects continue to apply to the surviving units for their full duration.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So if you apply like a stratagem that gives a unit a 5+ feel no pain in the combat phase, for instance, or in the shooting phase, you do it at the start, all the bodyguard die at the beginning of the shooting phase, and then your opponent goes to target the individual characters, they would still then benefit from that feel no pain.
Yeah. Gaining command points outside of the 1 CP the players gain at the start of the command phase. See, right. Each player can only gain a total of 1 CP per battle round, regardless of the source. This includes other CP gained at the start of the command phase. This is all well and good until you think of things like knights becoming honoured and gaining 3 CP, because this would kind of overrule that and say, we're only getting 1.
And
Votan,
yeah.
Yeah. I would suspect that the Votan and the Knight rules do actually supersede this, but yeah, okay.
I do think it does say it overrules it, but it means like in situations where you have Azrael, Calgar, Swarmlord, it stops you. You gain that CP that they give you, but you then can't gain extra CP for discarding cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Battle shock in this step, if for any reason a unit is forced to take a battle shock test for being below its starting strength, unless otherwise stated, that unit does not also have to take a battle shock test for being below half strength. While a unit is battle shocked, all models in that unit are also battle shocked. Right? This is a lot of these things are gamey dickhead tournament players where we knew this wasn't a problem. But for example, if you had a rule that said a unit was, if it was below its starting strength, had to be battle shocked, what players were saying was, you're below your starting strength, you've got a battle shock. I've passed. Cool, you're also below half strength, you've got battle shock again. No, I've done the battle shock.
Yeah.
And this clears it up. You do it once.
You only
just
have
do
to
it once, right? Move units, 3rd paragraph. Each time you move a model, other than when a model remains stationary, see below, you can move it across the battlefield in any combination of straight lines and pivots Big change. While you are moving it, no part of the base can be moved through an enemy model or cross the edge of the battlefield, despite what someone wrote in White Dwarf once. It can be moved through friendly models, but it cannot end its move on top of another model. If the only exception for this is when moving monster vehicle models, such as models can be moved through other friendly monster vehicle models. While it is moving in a straight line, it can be moved through any space its base can fit through, but it cannot end its move somewhere the model cannot be placed. Right? Cool. Pivots. Here's a thing that's coming that's new to you people. Straight lines and pivots. Each time you move a model in a straight line, measure the distance from the same point of the base BROM at the start and the end of that line. For example, you can measure from the back of the model's base and measure the distance to the back of the model's base at the end of that line. If the model does not have a base, measure using the same point on the model BROM at the start and end of that line. So don't measure from the front of the model and then move the back to it. BROM. Pivots, new. Each time you pivot a model, rotate it in any amount around its central axis, perpendicular to the battlefield through the center of its base. I don't think we needed that. Or through the center of the model if it doesn't have a base. The first time you do this during each model's move, subtract that model's pivot value, see below, from the remaining distance it can move during that move. If there is not enough distance left to do this, it cannot pivot. Note that the distance it can move is only reduced once for that move, regardless of how many additional times it pivots during that move. Models have a pivot value of 0 unless otherwise stated. Monster and vehicle models, excluding models on round bases and aircraft models, have a pivot value of 2 inches unless otherwise stated.
I really like this rule.
Okay, why?
Right, because it clears up a lot of arguments. Right, say you have a building, which is what this, right, on an angle, and you've got a tank here, right, and it wants to charge a unit that's here, right? You go and you measure and it's 11 inches. You go, yeah, but you got to pivot. What's the distance from here to here? And you got to work it out. And the size of the tank changes, and then your opponent then have a little fucking argument over it. Or if it's something that's got no base but it's got a lot of fucking legs, you know, there's always an argument always ensues. So you go, cool. I measure from the front of your vehicle. Bend your tape measure round to them. Okay, that's 7 inches. You have to pivot. Add 2. Done. Right? Or you go, I want to go from here to here, but there's 2 buildings in the way, and I'm going to have to like snake my way through. But I don't know how far I'm going to get. So then you have another argument with your opponent because they're like, I don't want you to move as far as you can. You go, cool. What's the distance from A to B? And you go, cool. -2. Done. You know, really cleans things up, makes it a lot easier.
So, talking about what Joe just said there, here's an example, moving with a pivot value of 2. The same vehicle moves 6 inches in a straight line. So this is because it starts here. This vehicle has a move characteristic of 12. It moves 6 inches in a straight line, then 6 inches in another straight line, measuring from the same point each time it moves. It does not pivot as part of this move. It's facing the same direction all the way through, okay? Right? Moving with a pivot value, the same vehicle moves 6 inches in a straight line and then 4 inches in another straight line, pivoting around its central axis as the end of this move. The pivot subtracts its pivot value from 2 from the remaining distance it can move, so it cannot move any further. Moving with multiple pivots, the same vehicle pivots more than once during its move, but the total distance it can move is still only reduced by its pivot value of 2 inches. It moves 5 inches in a straight line, pivoting around its central axis, then 5 inches in another line, pivoting around its central axis again. Okay? I think it's clear.
Yeah.
But yes, pivot 2 inches. If you're pivoting, if your tank is facing this way and you want your tank to face that way, you -2 inches. All right? If you're moving. Cool. Good. Monsters do the same sort of thing. Cool. Okay. Firing deck. There's a change. No one cares.
They do care.
Why?
If you play against gamey dickheads.
Okay.
Right. So, firing deck. Say you have a firing deck of 2, like the Impulsor, right? Or a firing deck of 3, or whatever, right? So the rules currently are you can have a unit of eliminators, the scout, the sniper ones for the Space Marines, right? They can shoot. They can be selected to shoot. They shoot, and then part of their rule is allows them to redeploy. If they redeploy, they can redeploy into a vehicle. That vehicle hasn't shot yet currently. Current rules are you choose the units inside count as the same as the vehicle for the purposes of moving and shooting. So the people inside can then shoot again for free, right? This rule just stops you. If the unit inside have already shot, already activated, they then cannot do that.
So when I say I don't care, that's because I feel like people like you and I don't do that, but that's
no,
obviously
but
been a
you,
problem.
but
Okay.
but basically, if you go somewhere and someone does try to do that to you, you can go, you can't.
Okay. Shooting phase is updated slightly. Unless at least one model in that unit has an eligible target for one or more of its ranged weapons, that model's unit cannot be selected to shoot. This is different to being eligible to shoot. It says this in the designer's note below. If you're eligible to shoot, as in I've moved with a normal gun, I'm not in range of anything, I'm eligible to shoot. I can't shoot, but I'm eligible to shoot, so I can do an action. That's allowed, right? If, however, you're not in range to shoot, you then cannot shoot. That's important. Because some units have got move, shoot, move. And what people were doing was going, I can't shoot at anything, but I'm shooting, I've shot, and I'm going to move again.
Well, yeah, so the designers that they reference specifically dark packs and gargoyles. Gargoyles can move, shoot, move. Can't do that. Dark packs, some units have things that happen after you dark packed. So like Abaddon gains CP.
Yeah.
So now Abaddon can't just gain CP for free.
Yeah.
Not that we were doing it before, but there are people that try to do it.
Yeah. Big change to mortal wounds, okay? Some rules inflict mortal wounds on units. Each time a mortal wounds are inflicted on a unit, each of those mortal wounds inflicts 1 point of damage to that unit, and they are always applied one at a time. Each mortal wound is allocated to model in the same unit manner as allocating an attack. Excess damage from mortal wounds is not lost if the damage can be allocated to another model. Instead, keep allocating damage to another model in the target unit until the damage has been allocated to the target or the target unit is destroyed. If an attack inflicts mortal wounds in addition to any normal damage, do not make a wound roll or saving throw, including vulnerable saving throws, against those mortal wounds. If those mortal wounds are inflicted by an attack that has the precision ability, the attacking model's controlling player can allocate those mortal wounds to a character model in that unit. The bigger change, if mortal wounds are being inflicted as a result of the hazardous ability or by an attack with the devastating wounds ability, listen in chat, big change, that scored a critical wound, each time those mortal wounds are allocated to a model, if that model is destroyed as the result of those mortal wounds, the remaining mortal wounds from that attack are lost, just as with a normal attack. If you do mortals from any ability, normal rules apply that we've been using so far. If you do mortal wounds from devastating or hazardous, they don't spill over, they're like normal damage, okay?
Yeah,
That's very basics of it.
But the importance here is that devastating wounds are now mortal wounds.
Which we'll go on to in the next page.
Yeah.
If, when a unit is selected to shoot or fight, one or more of its attacks can inflict mortal wounds on the target, resolve any normal damage inflicted by the attacking unit's attacks on that target before inflicting any mortal wounds on that target. If an attack inflicts mortal wounds in addition to any normal damage, but the normal damage is subsequently saved, the target unit still suffers those mortal wounds as described above. Okay, cool. They've actually shortened this one down here for us. Indirect fire, major change, right? So still subtract 1 from the hit roll. The target still has the benefit of cover. In red, massive, massive, massive change. The thing that's probably hurt guard the most, an unmodified hit roll of 1 to 3 always fails.
Always. So I spoke to the people that make the rules on this to clarify something specifically, right? So Scout Sentinels, any unit that allows a unit that shoots indirectly, right, to not suffer the negative modifiers for hitting, still suffers the 1 to 3 to hit, always fails.
Yeah.
Because the rules for the Scout Sentinel change modifiers. A unmodified 1 to 3 isn't a plus or a minus.
Yeah.
So that always happens. So the Scout Sentinel stops you from being -1 to hit. So say for instance, for some reason you'd be hitting on a 5, right?
Yeah.
And then you go back to the 4, but a 1 to 3 would fail. So if you've got Lord Solar and you're heavy and you're shooting in directly where you'd normally be hitting on 2s, and the Scout Sentinel can see them, they always hit on 2s. Now you still would hit on a 2. But you don't, because a 1, 2, or 3 always fails. You still always hit on a 4.
It's so they have dropped all the points of all the indirect stuff for guards, and they have obviously changed Born Soldiers. I don't feel like they've made enough positive changes to guard personally.
No.
To negate how hard this is going to hit them.
My one gripe, this is why I was saying why I've got a problem currently, right? Is that they haven't made Lehman Russes good.
Exactly.
Right? Lehman Russes are still shit. right? In my opinion, and also
They gain lethals all the time against other vehicles. And
other
monsters.
vehicles, yeah, which is a benefit. However, right, a basilisk that can see its target still hits on 2s.
Correct, with the relevant buffs.
Right, with a scout sentinel, rerolls 1s. Right, still more accurate than a main battle tank. Right,
Yeah.
that's remains stationary. This is one of my issues. These vehicles have got cheaper, but they're still incredibly accurate. Manticores still hit on 2s.
If they can
Wyverns
see,
still hit
if they
on
can
2s.
see.
If they can see their target.
Yeah.
But
They're still better tanks than the tanks.
they're still better tanks than your main battle tank.
Agree.
Right? The only tank that can hit on a 2 is the Vanquisher, and that's poo.
But as I've said, I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I still don't think that the changes to Born Soldiers and the reduction in points for indirect actually makes up for the fact they're now just hit on 1s to 3s.
So I think the best. What we're going to see now, right? Because I've sat and I've pondered my brain, right? All we're going to see now is armies of 36 Sentinels.
You think we're dead wrong about Guard. Why? Lightning Creep. Out of interest.
Because so what's going to happen now is we're going to end up with 9 armored Sentinels, 9 Scout Sentinels, because they get lethal and versus both, because they are regiment and squadron.
Yeah.
And then just masses of guard infantry.
Yeah.
Tanks is where it exists. There will still be 1 or 2 basilisks to reduce the movement of fast-moving combat armies. Maybe some sentinels. Maybe some chimeras.
Hazardous has a plus, which means it's changed. Weapons with a hazardous at the profile are known as hazardous weapons. We know that after the unit has resolved all of its attacks, for each hazardous weapon that targets were selected for when resolving those attacks, the unit must take 1 hazardous test. To do so, roll 1d6 on a 1 if the test is failed. For each failed test, you must resolve the following sequence. Resolve each failed test 1 at a time. If possible, select 1 model in that unit that has lost 1 or more wounds and is equipped with 1 or more hazardous weapons. Otherwise, if possible, select 1 model in that unit excluding character models equipped with 1 or more hazardous weapons. Otherwise, select 1 character model from the unit equipped with 1 or more hazardous weapons. I don't understand. I don't understand how that's 3. If possible, select 1 model in that unit that has lost 1 or more wounds. I say, first of all, you have to allocate to a model with a hazardous weapon that's already taken wounds.
Yeah.
Next, you allocate to a model in a unit with a hazardous weapon that's not a character. Next, you pick a character in that order. This is important for things like, I guess, crisis suits with commanders.
Yeah.
If a model is selected, that unit suffers 3 mortal wounds, and when allocating those mortal wounds, they must be allocated to the selected model, right?
So it means that if you've got a character in a unit that's also got a hazardous gun, and 1 model in the unit that's not a character has a hazardous gun, you roll the hazardous test simultaneously, and it all goes on to the non-character first. But then it means that if you've got a unit that doesn't have any hazardous weapons, but the character does, then he is the only one that takes it. It's not someone else in the unit.
If a unit from a player's army is selected as a target of the fire overwatch stratagem in their opponent's charge phase, any mortal wounds inflicted by hazardous tests are allocated after the charging unit has ended its charge move. Yeah. So you no longer can kill yourself with hazardous and make your opponent's charge longer.
But now you don't just instant die if you're infantry.
You do. You suffer 3 mortal wounds.
Yeah, but what if you've got 4? What if you're? But it means if you've got 4 wounds and you're not a character or a monster.
Can you name me a 4 wound thing with a hazardous weapon?
A crisis suit. That's a monster. That's a vehicle.
So it only took 3 anyway.
Come back to me.
Okay, extra attacks. Extra attack weapons, right? Each time the bearer of 1 or more extra attack weapons fights, it makes attacks with each of these extra attack melee weapons it is equipped with, and it makes attacks with 1 of the melee weapons it is equipped with that does not have the extra attacks ability, if any. The number of attacks made with the extra attack weapon cannot be modified by other rules unless that weapon's name is explicitly specified in that rule. Okay, devastating wounds. Big change, devastating wounds. Another big change. So what happened when 10th edition came out is it went, here's a big plaster. it's a problem right now. We're stopping them from being mortal wounds, and they're just a wound that you can take no saves of any kind.
Yeah.
It's now been changed, okay? Weapons with the devastating wounds profile are known as devastating wounds. Weapons. Each time an attack is made with such a weapon, if the attack scores a critical wound, no saving throw of any kind can be made against that attack, including invulnerable saving throws. Such attacks are only allocated to models after all other attacks made by the attacking unit have been allocated and resolved. After the attack is allocated and after any modifiers are applied, it inflicts a number of mortal wounds on the target equal to the damage characteristic of that attack, instead of inflicting damage normally. This is a bit of a shit word. This is I've got a rule.
Esric makes sense here. So you can take feel no pain versus
Mortal wounds.
versus the one up.
Yeah.
When you die from explosions, right? Whereas before you couldn't, you just remove.
That's really good, actually. I guess. Yeah. Okay.
So if your gun explodes, then
So you've got an apothecary with some hell blasters. Potentially, can keep them alive.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is where I've got a rule. I'm changing my rule because I'm panicking about devastating rules. I'm now changing it back, but I've left a sentence in there that we don't need. So we do not need the no saving throw of any kind can be made against this attack, including saving throws, because it says down here, after the attack is allocated and after any modifiers applied, it inflicts a number of mortal wounds, which we know we can't take invulnerable saving throws against.
Yeah.
So they've doubled down there, but basically devs are back to being mortals, but they don't spill over. So we're not going to be in a position where Wraith Knights, who do 2d6 mortals on Devastating, can then wipe out a unit of 10 infantry.
Yeah.
We're not going to have that anymore. It can still only kill a single infantry with a Wraith Cannon, which is good. But it does do mortals. That's important because it does mortals, all the feel no pains that things like Custodians have got, specifically against mortal wounds, are now back in play.
Like chaplains, librarians as well.
Yes, they're all back in play now. So there's a lot of stuff in that game, there's a lot of stuff in 10th edition that says you get to feel no pain against mortal wounds, which were clearly put in there to give people protection against the mass amount of devastating wounds that they put in this less lethal edition. Now, what they've done is gone, it's just a normal damage and you can't take any saves, and all of those feel no pains meant nothing, so they've gone back to it being mortal wounds, right? It's decent. Okay, the move hasn't changed, that hasn't changed, Deep Strike has changed.
Mystic also makes a point, right? To Hellblasters, if you have if you roll 2 1s, that kills 3 Hellblasters.
No, it doesn't. Why does it?
Because there's 3 mortal wounds.
Which doesn't spill over, it said that in the mortal wounds part. Hazardous. If a mortal wound is being inflicted as a result of the hazardous ability or an attack with devastating wounds ability, the score critical wound, each time those mortal wounds are allocated to a model, if that model is destroyed as a result of those mortal wounds, the remaining mortal wounds from that attack are lost. It doesn't, it just kills 2.
Okay, cool.
It doesn't kill 2, it
there
just
you
kills
go.
2. So 2 dead Hellblasters, still at 2 failed hazardous saves on 2 Hellblasters, the mortal wounds don't spill over, it still only kills 2.
Yeah.
Weapons have changed here. Range. How far a weapon can shoot. Weapons with a range of melee are melee weapons that can only be used in close combat. Funny old thing. All other weapons are ranged weapons. For ranged weapons, after all modifiers apply, this cannot be less than 1.
Basically, all this is basically saying no modifiers can be less than 1.
Or better than 1.
Apart from AP, where you can't get worse than 0.
Yeah.
And damage can't be worse.
After all modifiers are applied, this cannot be less than 1, with the exceptions where the rule specifies the damage goes to 0. Deep Strike, if the Deep Strike ability arrives from strategic reserve. There's lots more little rules. I don't know how much of this I want to fucking... Oh my God, we're already 10 past. Leader nonsense, I'm not reading that, can't be asked. Command reroll.
Command reroll has changed quite big, actually.
Any phase, just after you make an advance roll, a charge roll, a desperate escape test, a hazardous test for a unit from your army, a hit roll, a wound roll, a damage roll, or a saving throw for a model in that unit, or a roll to determine the number of attacks made with a weapon equipped by a model in that unit. And here's one of the bigger points. If you are using fast dice, this stratagem can still be used after rolling multiple saves, after multiple rolls or saving throws at once. The unit model from your army, you can re-roll that roll, test, or saving throw. If you are using fast dice, select one of those rolls. So no longer do you have to go, I've got a CP, I roll 1, I roll 1, I roll 1, I roll 1, I fail. Do I want to use my CP? Yes, no, yes, roll it, roll 1. You don't do that anymore. You can now roll the whole lot and go, I only failed 1, I might as well CP re-roll it.
Yeah.
Speeds it right up.
Also, you can now re-roll Desperate Escape and Hazardous tests.
I think you could do Desperate Escape anyway, I'm not sure.
No, you couldn't.
Insane Bravery, before you, it has changed apparently, before you take a battle shock test from your army, that unit from your army, you automatically pass that battle shock test, you cannot use this strategy more than once per battle, cool. Grenades, excluding units that advance, fell back, or have shot. So you can use the grenade and then shoot. You cannot use the shoot and then grenade, right?
But it also so units that can fall back and shoot still can't
use this stratagem.
You can't use this or advance and shoot.
So no longer can you shoot and go, I've got 2 more wounds to go off. I just use the grenade stratagem. You have to take that gamble now before you shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Harley, you haven't put a message in.
No.
You put it in underneath, and we'll see it right now.
Yeah. Okay. Tank shock. Big change to tank shock. Used to be the strength of your melee weapon, and that doesn't happen anymore. Now it's the toughness.
Check the leader thing for original starting strength. But we'll come back to there. So tank shock, I like this change, right? But it affects walkers with big close combat weapons. Means they get less.
Well, here's the thing, right? Select one enemy unit within engagement range of your unit and select one of your vehicle model from your unit that is within engagement range of that enemy unit. Roll a number of d6 equal to the toughness characteristic of the selected vehicle model for each 5+ suffers mortal wounds. There's no longer add 2.
No.
No longer add 2. So for tank shock, if you are a land raider, this has got really good.
Yeah.
If you're a knight lancer who can tank shock for free, this has got really shit.
It's still toughness 12.
It's still shit compared to what it was.
It's shit compared to what it was, but
it's gone, here's the extremes, we're bringing it into here.
Yeah, but it's also more representative of the fact that if you're a Baneblade that's strength 8, right, but toughness like 12, 13,
yeah,
is much better because it's more representative of a massive fucking tank running someone over, right? Like a Rhino that's strength 6 is still a massive, like 24-ton.
And what they're doing on the vehicles and tanks that have got fucking great big melee weapons is they're saying, well, you don't just rely on tank shock. What you do is you rely on the fact that you've got massive fucking melee weapons. Yeah. So I don't hate this change. It is worse for big melee knights and stuff like that. I think the change is okay. Right, let's read this leader thing then, because I thought it was not. Each time the last model, the bodyguard unit is destroyed, each character unit that is part of the attached unit becomes a separate unit with its original starting strength. Okay. If this happens as a result of an attack, they become a separate unit after the attacking unit has resolved all of its attacks.
Yeah.
Each time the last model of the character unit is attached to a bodyguard unit is destroyed, and there is not another character unit attached to its bodyguard unit becomes a separate unit with its original starting strength. That's badly worded. So let's say, right? Let's say this is terribly worded, Joe.
Yeah.
Because the way it's worded, so this is not as intended, okay? The way it's worded, right? You've got a character. You've got Gabriel Seth in a unit of 6 Blade Guard.
Yeah.
Right? I kill 2 Blade Guard.
Yeah.
Right? I then precision Gabriel Seth. Gabriel Seth's dead. The Blade Guard go back to its original starting strength. 6 models. But I've already killed 2.
Yeah.
That is a horrifically worded rule. Each time a unit is part of an attached unit is destroyed, if it does not have the keywords of any of the units that make the attached unit, unless it has one of the keywords on its attached unit, so for the purpose of the ability, the rules will be triggered when it is destroyed. Example, if you only destroy the bodyguard unit that is part of an attached unit, you have not destroyed a character unit. If you only destroy the character unit that is part of an attached unit, or if you destroy the whole attached unit, you have destroyed 1 character unit. If you just only destroy the character unit...
So character units would be representative of like a guard command squad. Or,
yeah. So I know what they've tried to do here, but this first part is worded terribly.
Yeah.
So what they're saying is, if you have a character unit with its attached bodyguard and I kill the bodyguard at the point in which I was killing it did in fact have the character keyword, but I don't count as having killed a character unit for the purposes of certain secondaries, etc.
Yeah.
Right? It's worded horrifically, yet more proof that their rules writers are fucking imbeciles.
But it's also stopping gamey people, isn't it? They would be like, well, I killed his bodyguard, which when I killed them were a character unit, so I guess...
Yeah, no, it does. But if you read, like I said, if you read it, right? If you read it, and I kill Seth, and you've lost 3 Blade Guard, you go, well, I'll put my 3 Blade Guard back on, because it specifically says the bodyguard unit becomes a separate unit with its original starting strength.
So apparently the Lancer dropped 35 points as well.
That's terribly worded. That's not as intended, Jack. You can't put models back on the table.
Yeah, that's not. Like, they're not going to go, well, I've killed 8 out of 10 of those assault intercessors. You just get all 8 back now. Because that would be mental.
Sherrick, I agree with you completely, but you have to realise that certain people in certain parts of the world who play this game will do everything they can to abuse a rule.
This is a good point, and I like this. So if you kill crypto thralls, they now cannot reanimate them because they're not part of the starting unit.
Good. Hopefully that's what that means.
Yeah.
Heroic Intervention has changed slightly, apparently. It's 1 CP.
Yep.
Good.
Good.
Fire Overwatch
Rapid
is the
Ingress,
same.
1 CP, Fire Overwatch.
Rapid Ingress hasn't changed from last time. Fire Overwatch hasn't changed from last time. You cannot target a Titanic unit with the stratagem. Is the same.
The other one, Primarchs can now move through walls.
Primarchs can move through rules. Good. Thank fuck for the Lion. No longer have to go round the ruin.
But Imperium Primarchs can go through walls.
I mean, which is fair.
Yeah.
Because it would be silly if it was big demon Primarchs.
Yeah.
I don't want to read through much more. Oh, we're on to the FAQs. Okay, so we have ruins of visibility, aircraft models are an exception, models that are within range of this terrain feature can be seen normally, and towering models that are within this terrain feature can also see out of it normally.
One thing I did like the change of in the FAQs, I read through it, which I think is quite a big change, but a lot of people won't realise it's there, right? If you do a fight on death stratagem, right, it can't have additional abilities activate.
Yeah.
Because not more often than not, it says if this unit is selected to shoot, then you can do X, Y, Z and get sustained or lethal or whatever, right? When you fight on death, the unit is not being selected to shoot.
Yeah.
So I can't do dark packs, for instance. On my
select units. Your army must include at least one character unit. Eligible to be a warlord. Some grants battle line. Blah 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 blah. Okay, who cares, right? Not bothered, right? So it says if your warlord is a specific model, when mustering your army, treat such units as battle line units for the purposes of the step, even though the select warlord step comes afterwards. Okay, it's just a wording issue. So this is the main changes that have happened to the core rules, right? We then go into the FAQs. By the way, we're less than a year into an edition. The simplified, not simple edition, right? Simplified, the easier edition, the one that everyone told me it's better to get new players in and it's easy to understand. Let's have a look at how many FAQs there are. Quite a lot in there, right? And now we're on to the rules commentary. I'm not going to go through all this, chat. I'm not going through the rules commentary because we're already 15 minutes over. The red ones with pluses are the ones you have to look. I've looked at some of these, right? I don't need to go over them.
The base-to-base one is based on the fact that if you can't get base-to-base because you're being pushed out kind of thing, it still works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the little red changes in this one, for the majority, are basically common sense.
Yeah.
Okay?
Some of them are just grammar changes.
Some of them are gamey dickheads. Some of them are because of gamey dickheads. The only way I can explain it is additional wording because someone somewhere has tried to bend the rule by not necessarily understanding the intent. When a rule allows you to roll a save or a saving throw, this is basically fixing fast rolling, so you have to do one at a time. Fighting on death is probably what you're talking about there, Joe.
Yeah.
Hull is for vehicles, it makes sense, it's common sense. Gaming CP for mission cards. When a player mission gives a player one more CP for disguise secret mission cards, that CP counts towards the limit on number of CP that players can gain in the battle round. We've been doing that anyway, right? There's a couple of other bits and bobs in here. There's not a lot, if I remember rightly. Measuring destroyed, measuring from is. This is all common sense shit now. One shot, lol. This is when you know gamey dickheads are gamey dickheads, right? This makes me laugh so hard. If you use a one-shot weapon and then the model's destroyed, and then so sentinels with hunter-killer missiles.
Yeah.
If you fire all your hunter-killer missiles and then you use the reinforcement stratagem that's now once per battle to bring your sentinels back. Funny old thing, your one-shot weapon still count as being shot. Weird that. So that clearly means people were doing it and going, I've got my hunter-killers back because it's a new unit again, right? So there's that one. No changes there. Repositioned is about how you do it. It kind of makes sense. A reroll is still considered to be a roll, and as such, any rules that can be triggered by a dice roll can also be triggered by a reroll. Okay, I mean, some of these are just, again, these are just common sense changes mostly. Round bases. Some rules refer to round bases. A round base is one whose footprint is circular. Honestly, oh my fucking God, sometimes. Rules with multiple conditions and effects. Some rules have multiple conditions, with the second, more specific condition conferring an improved rule, either instead of the first condition's rule or as well as, i.e. Locust Destroyers, hardwired for destruction ability, or the Orcs, bigger shells for the bigger git stratagem. Such rules require both the first condition and the second condition to be satisfied for the improved rule to apply. Right? Okay, cool. If a unit was selected to shoot and none of the models can make attacks, it's not covered. We've covered that already. So some of these big changes are already covered by that first part anyway. What's a table quarter, Joe? Who knew? Right? Oh my fucking God. 40k is a great game ruined by 40k players. Modified characteristics is not really changed massively. After all modifiers are applied, after all modifiers are applied, after all modifiers are applied, after all modifiers are applied is the clarification.
Yeah, so if you've got 4 -1s and 1 +1, it doesn't matter because after you've applied all those, it still can't be more than -1 or +1 to your original.
And that's us raced through a 33-page core rules update with designer's commentary and FAQ. Wait, circles are circular. I know, it's mad, isn't it? Super chat bot is off, so it won't interrupt us, but we are going to get through all of them, Carlos. Joe's got his little iPad here with all your chats on. Don't you worry, we'll get to your chat, mate. I promise you. This, currently to me, has just absolutely highlighted the monumental incompetence in the 40k rules writing team. But I also think it's not 100% their fault.
Yeah,
I think it's also coupled with people that are trying to constantly break the fucking game for what is essentially rules as intended an unfair advantage.
At the end of the day, it shows off people's how far people are willing to go to get an advantage because of a slight cock up in grammar.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's not necessarily a rules team problem. Like, should we ever be in a world? And I ask you this, chat, honestly, should we ever be in a world where Games Workshop have to say round bases are bases that are circular? Should we ever have to live in that world? I don't feel like I've ever needed them to ever say that before on any previous rule set, but they now feel the need to write that. Why? I don't feel like that's an individual in Games Workshop and Nottingham justifying their job. It's because some prick somewhere is going to come up with some stupid fucking...
with a 25mm square base.
Yeah. With a round lip on it. It's round. Lipped round. Yeah. But exactly, that's my point, right? That's my point. There's a ton of changes. The fact that what we haven't done at this point is covered the fact that every single faction has an updated FAQ as well. Every single one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of changes here, and if you are a lot of people said to me with 10th edition, oh, it's great accessibility for new players. I at the start kind of perhaps agreed with you.
Yeah.
I no longer agree with you now, because if you want to play the game properly, you need to read the rule book, but not the rule book because you need to read that document, which is 33 pages of changes. You then, if you want to play the latest version, need to read the balance update, which changes all the factions. And for poor fuckers like Admech, if you're not a person who wants to pay the $5.99 for the app because you've already bought a £35 fucking codex, you've now got to print off a whole sheet with complete changes from all the cards. The cards are all wrong as well. So Admech cards were released and were wrong. They then released the new updated ones with the codex, which cost money, that are now fucking wrong again. It's embarrassing.
I do think that...
And then yesterday, they're announcing more record fucking profit. And fair play, right? They've gone, this many million, I think it's like 16 million, are going to staff and they're all getting bonuses. Fair play. But what about the poor cunts buying your product?
Yeah.
Look at us, we made record profits. Why did you need to put the fucking price up again then, you bastards?
I do think, at this point, the app should be free.
Agree.
The app should be free, and then if you buy a codex, you just put the code in and it's done. Because we're in a stage now where, yes, the index cards, if you've got an index army, you can download their cards and have all the new rules on them because they update those at the same time. But if you've bought a codex, all your rules are wrong, and they don't update those index pages for free and then allow you to print them out and put them in your book, right? Which is what I kind of feel like they should be doing now. If a unit profile gets updated, right, you should be able to print off the cards that you could then put into your book. Bare minimum.
Yeah.
Bare minimum. But if they're not going to do that, make the app free so the people that did buy the codex that haven't got the app can just go, cool, I can put it in and be done. Even if it means that if you don't pay for the app, you still only get to create one army list, that's fine. If you pay for the app, then you get multiple army lists. But there shouldn't be, like...
The whole structure of it, the whole structure of the data cards, the codex, the app, the whole structure just stinks of fucking being money-hungry, greedy cunts. That's all it is. That's the way it's built. If you get the cards now, if you buy the data cards for updated codexes, right, not the original index cards, if you buy the data cards for any codexes out, guess what you don't get? Detachment rules, stratagems. So you have to buy the fucking codex, you can't just buy the cards.
Yeah.
So if you want the cards, because most people would probably agree that the cards are slightly easy to use, right? You've got to pay whatever it is, 12 quid for the cards, 12 and a half quid for the cards. Then you've got to buy the codex. 37 and a half quid now for the fucking codexes, rip-off cunts, despite the fact they've just announced more like record profits, and I agree. It's great that they're chucking money out to their staff members. They should. I mean, maybe just put the base wage up in the first fucking instance, rather than paying them an absolute pittance. So you've got to buy the codex. Like, cool. I've now paid essentially 50 quid for the cards and the codex, so that I can have my rules. But both of them are out of date within weeks, so I now need to use the app, which is also going to cost me $6.99 or $5.99 a month.
So I think the easy fix here, very easiest fix, right, for Games Workshop to still make money, but for their end user to be happy, right, is you allow people to buy digital copies of the codex on the app.
But they should have been doing that from the start, Joe.
I know. Make them 15 quid. You don't care if you spent 15 quid on the AdMac book when it came out because you didn't buy a physical copy that's wrong. You just haven't got piles of paper.
But why do you have to pay? I tell you what. So I know the answer to this. Why do you have to pay $5.99 for an app from a multi-billion-pound company when you've already paid minimum £37.50 for those rules in the first place? Because at that point, a codex's rules aren't $37.50. They're actually $37.50 plus $5.99 a month if you want to use their fucking app. Their app's really good. I want to champion their app.
Well, it's $5.99 times 12 times 3 for the edition, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's mad. I've already paid 40 quid near enough for a codex. Give me the fucking app rules for free.
You get a free model.
Whoop-de fucking do.
Well, it's not free, but you get a model.
The only reason why I think that the app fucking thing is linked in is because guess what? It makes Warhammer Plus look successful because that was an absolute fucking car crash. And in terms of video content, still is. Have you tried watching any Warhammer Plus content? It's still dog shit. We put a better job together in our fucking little studio on a pittance compared to what Games Workshop earn.
Yeah.
Their content is awful. But it looks more successful now because the amount of people that pay for Warhammer Plus just because they get access to the app.
But you don't need to pay. So you don't need to pay for the app if your army is currently in index. It's free. The app is free if your army that you play is in index. The moment that your army goes to a codex, right, those rules are removed from the app. They're not visible to you anymore.
You have to buy the codex.
So currently, actually no, this is a lie. Currently, if you're a Sisters player, your rules are free. As of Saturday, when their codex is officially out, or is it last Saturday?
Their codex is officially out this Saturday.
Is this Saturday coming?
Yeah, so Sisters players are currently fucked.
Yeah, so basically, as of now, your rules are visible. As of Saturday, but the app just got updated, so you probably can't see them anymore. You won't be able to see those rules. So you have to buy the codex to see your rules, but you have to pay the membership to also access them.
No, you have no. You can.
You have to pay you have to pay the membership to get more than one.
To be able to write more than one army list.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't. So you can buy the codex and then you can put the rules into your app and you get access to your codex's rules and you can write a single list. One.
So why don't they just? I know the answer to this question. Why is it if you pay a subscription for the app, surely you should just get everything for free on the app?
Yeah.
And
Which the second your subscription stops, goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%, Joe. Absolutely. If they said to you, I mean, I would argue they could even put the price up slightly, but if they said to you, $5.99 for the app, right? And you don't have to buy any rules. Everything will be digital. Everything will be updated when we release all our new updates. It'll all be on there all the time. I think people would pay that for 3 years of the edition.
I would imagine they won't stop the cards and the books simply because they make way too much money.
No, they won't, but they've given you a choice at this point.
Yeah.
Right now, they don't give you a choice. The choice is if you want to use the app for your rules, unless you're currently in Index, if you want to use the app for your rules, then you have to pay for a codex. If you want to build more than one list, you have to pay for the app as well, which is a Warhammer Plus subscription, so that we can make Warhammer Plus look popular, because it's actually fucking dog shit. right? And this is my problem. You're now double, triple monetizing people. That's not even including buying the cards if you want the cards as well. But if you buy, when the index cards came out, in each pack of index cards, you also had a stratagem card with all your stratagems on it, really easy to use. And you had a detachment card with detachment rules on it. So I was playing Knights on Tuesday, and I had like 6 cards. I had my 4 data sheets that I was using. I know this is a unique because it's Knights, but I had my 4 data sheets that I was using. I had my stratagem card and my detachment card. I didn't need anything else. But they're out of date because they've updated the rules, so I had to keep checking the app anyway. Now when you buy the cards, let's not even think about the fact that they're out of date. You don't get detachment or stratagem rules anymore. You have to buy the codex.
Yeah.
So the cards are arguably fucking pointless. And that they're out of date in no time at all as well, as we've just seen.
Yeah.
It's honestly unreal that they do this and think it's acceptable, and unfortunately we all keep fucking buying it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're incredibly lucky.
Well, I think the only thing that's keeping the app alive is stupid people like us that pay for it, but also the people that pay for it so they get the free model, so then they can sell the free model and make more money.
But I pay for the app. But I feel like we're a very unique case.
Yeah,
because we get the codexes and cards for free from GW.
Yeah, I pay for the app because I have multiple lists on there all the time. I'll go to the toilet and I'll just write a list for just to pass the time. I'll be at the gym and I'll just write a list, you know.
Which is what we used to do in Battlescribe as well.
Yeah.
When points were granular, and that was better.
I'm free.
Right. Anyway,
should we do some super
don't get me wrong. I think if we actually look at the changes that they're making to the game on the whole right now, to give them credit where some credit is due, and it's very fucking small. The changes that they've made are actually mostly good changes. We've read through that, and every change we've gone, yeah, that's good, that makes sense. But then to think about the fact that it's avoided almost every single new codex that's out, because even the Sisters book, granted, there's no balanced Dataslate changes for Sisters, but guess what? All the points have changed.
I would argue that someone said the cards are just useless, just flat. But the cards are fine if you don't have many Dataslate units, right? If you've got a lot of the same units, say you've got a couple captains, a boat bay cards, a vehicle, a dreadnought. Say you've got like 5 or 6 different things, but multiples of those 5 and 6 things. You only need 5 or 6 cards. If you're Brom, who brings 47 different units, he needs 47 cards on the table. At which point, you just bin those cards and just use the book because it takes up much less space. You don't end up with like this massive long line of cards down the side of the table.
And we circle back round to, but you can't just use the book because they've almost definitely changed the rules.
And it's not in alphabetical order, so everything's really hard to find.
Oh, and the books were absolutely laid out by a fucking moron, yes. That as well.
Just make the app free. Or
do you remember when it was like HQs, troops, elites, fast attack, heavy support?
Yeah.
It's good, that, wasn't it?
Okay, don't make it free, Games Workshop, if you're listening. I know he's very angry. This is the voice of reason. Just, if you're paying for the app, just give us the codexes as part of it. Which softens this blow. If you think so, because there will be people that just want to buy the codex.
And then the app exists at $5.99. You can't even get Legends units in it.
That's true.
Can't even get Legends units in it.
Liam hurt his shoulder today.
I haven't mentioned it. I've purposely not mentioned it.
I know, but...
Because Sam was like, how many times are you going to mention that on stream? I haven't mentioned that I hurt my shoulder.
How many times are you going to drop the C-bomb, you know?
But they deserve it, Joe. It's not unfounded. They deserve this. The edition's less than a year old. We've just gone through a 33-page FAQ, commentary, and rules addendum on top of a balanced data slate that was fucking 7 or 8 pages long. And that's not even going into the fact that every single faction has got its own updated FAQ now.
Yeah. I agree with you. I'm just not shouting.
They could be...
When you complain to Games Workshop, don't use this language.
I do.
Right?
I do.
I know you do. I've been there when it happened. But just talk like a normal person and you'll be fine.
But this is the thing that gets me, right, is the thing that, like yesterday, they do so many good things. They do so many good things. Yesterday they put an article out about the fact they've made record profits again. Great. Very, very tasteful, by the way. a month after announcing price increases, then telling everyone you've had record profits again. Really tasteful, good work. It's really smart, that. But what they were trying to do was send a positive message out there, because what they've said is they've said, well, we've given all of our staff an additional bonus. It's not like they've not waited till Christmas now. They get an additional bonus. I'm like, so you've given them a bonus at Christmas, you've given them another bonus now. Put your fucking base wage up. People have been screaming it for ages. I never commented on the wages, because I always like, I'm not qualified to speak. I've never worked for them, so I can't comment. Peachy sat in this chair and said they need to pay their staff more.
Yeah.
If they can afford to give out, I don't know what it is, I think like $5,000 or $6,000 per person in bonuses, they can afford to put the wages up.
Yeah.
On record profits
the thing
again.
Is, though, if you give someone a $5,000 bonus within 6 months, right? Over two and then a 3, right? It's going to fuck them on their taxes, by the way. Because it was like, here's loads of money, but you're going to get taxed loads of it because it'll be in your wage packet, so you'll lose like a third of it.
To start with.
And then at the end of the year, when the HMRC go through all your taxes, they go, well, you got paid more, you owe us an extra 400 quid.
Yeah, no, Adam, to be clear, Adam, I'm not okay with it. My business is this channel, okay? My income is this channel. My business really at the moment is 40k with a minimal AOS add-on, right? So my business relies on a singular product at the moment, really, and that's 40k. And what we've built over the course of 7 years, and more predominantly over the last 2 years, is a business on 40k, which relies on people like you who watch to be engaged, to enjoy the content, to enjoy the streams, and more importantly for us, if we're honest with you, if I'm being really blatant, open and honest, is to want to pay for it either by being a member, by gifting memberships, by super chatting, all those kinds of things, right? But even at a very base level, I need people to watch, I need people to like, I need people to engage in the content for it to grow. The engagement today has been quite high. I can tell because I've been looking at the numbers. It's gone over 400 people watching, which is really positive, right, for the channel in general. If Games Workshop continue to absolutely dry fuck their customer base with no remorse whatsoever, continuously putting prices up whilst also announcing record profits, continuously putting out shit rule sets, and then going, fuck it, we'll fix it with a PDF. And so by the time you've had your codex for 4 weeks, it's completely out of date, it was a waste of £37.50. What's going to happen to a lot of people that watch 40k content, engage in 40k content, and pay for 40k content is they're going to go, fuck 40k and fuck Games Workshop, which means my business becomes irrelevant to you as an individual, and you'll go and do something else. Which you probably should. I shouldn't say that, but you probably should if you're that kind of disenfranchised with it. So I get so incredibly passionate about it because not only are they hurting themselves, but they're hurting you lot as customers and players, and they're hurting my business. And some people would say, Liam, that's your fault for building a business on another company's brand. And you're not entirely wrong, but you can kind of see then, and on top of which, at the very, very base, Joe and I are 40k players. At the very, very base level, we're 40k players.
Yeah.
So it fucking affects us as well when we go to tournaments and stuff like that.
Yeah, if I look at the group of people that I've been friends with in the last 15 years, say, all right, 15 years, right? I'd say 20 people, right? Just include yourself, the guys. I'd say 5 or 6 are still playing 40k. The rest have just gone, I'm out, and moved over to Heresy or Age of Sigmar, or just completely abandoned the Games Workshop ship altogether and gone to play Bolt Action, Saga, Star Wars, because it's much less of a traumatic experience.
It just really winds me up. I don't know if you could tell.
Yeah. I had noticed, you never know, they might turn it around in a year and a half.
11th needs to be AOS 4th edition as we currently see it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how AOS 4th edition is going to be a shit show in a year's time.
I think AOS...
As we currently see it, AOS 4th edition is going to be great.
I think AOS is going to do great out of 40k.
Fucking right it is.
I can't wait for Age of Sigmar. It's going to be a golden, glorious time. A shower of goldenness upon us all.
Should we get through the... I'm aware now that we're 37 minutes over schedule.
Yeah, you didn't have a big lunch either.
Should we go...
That's why you're grumpy.
I'm grumpy because my shoulder hurts and Games Workshop are being fucking dickheads.
Right then. Thank you, Lehman Russ. What do you think to the Primark change, allowing them to go through through buildings, Imperial only. I think it's great.
I think one of the most frustrating. So again, it looks like looking at the poll, I'll be running Dark Angels tonight, which means I'll probably run Custodians next week to show off those changes.
Yeah.
The Lion with his low nop is great until he has to get separated from all of the other models because he can't walk through a fucking ruin.
Yeah.
As a human who's about that big, it was stupid.
Narratively, Gilliman walks through doors fine on his spaceship.
Yeah, so I think that's a change that shouldn't have needed to be in there.
And the fact that it's only Imperial only makes sense because they've got feet. And
I get why they make them a monster, so they're kind of more they've got more impunity to anti-infantry based weapons, and they kind of require anti-tank based weapons to kill them because they're a Primarch. But
they're still heads and shoulders above everyone else. So when they're in combat, they can still shoot out of combat.
Yeah, I think that they should. I absolutely think that this is a positive change. It's good. Cool.
Stephen Witham says, "Rest in peace, Land Raider Redeemer. I will miss you and mourn you, my beautiful flamey boy."
What's happened to the Redeemer?
Am I gone up in points?
I don't know.
Stephen, what's changed to the Redeemer? It's probably gone up in points because it's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
But I currently have 2. I will probably run 2 for the lols. I will never stop running 1 because it's just too good.
Yeah.
Right? And it's movement 12. So if it has to pivot at any point, it moves to 10. Right? Compared to a normal Land Raider, which is movement 10. So it has to pivot, it has to move to 8. So it's still just flat better. And it has the best gun damage profile of any tank in the game.
What's its damage profile?
Well, it's 2d6, strength 6 minus 2 damage.
Strength 6 minus 2.
Yeah. No. It went up 25. It's still worth it. Right. So if I'm running 2, I'm down 50 points.
40. Jeff, it went up 20 points. Oh, it went up 25 points.
Yeah. So if I'm playing 2, I'm down 50 points. Cool. I just won't take some intercessors.
Strength 6 minus 2 is a really unique profile in 40k right now as well, isn't it?
But it's 2. But it's Overwatch and Flamer. It's so good. And now, all right, it's got 25 points. But you've got to think that that's also rolling into that as the change to tank shock. So it now rolls more dice when it runs into someone.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think it's all right. I think 25 points is a massive issue. They were too good considering they can Overwatch.
Oh yeah, and like the repulsor gets a benefit now because it can pivot for free.
What would you rather do with the Lehman Russ Redeemer? Would you rather they put it up 25 points or stopped it from overwatching?
A Land Raider Redeemer.
Land Raider Redeemer. What would you rather do? Go up by 25 points or stop Overwatch? I'd rather go up by 25 points and I can still Overwatch with it. So, okay.
Yeah, I think it's great.
I think you just change every single gun and melee weapon in the whole game to strength 6 minus 2.
Yeah,
might as well.
Might as well.
Yeah.
I always say thank you to Will Stewart for the 10. Thank you, Benjamin Dustin. First time I missed the curse of the Dataslate.
Thanks, Ben. What do you mean?
I imagine his army hasn't been nerfed.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Which is a win.
Yeah.
Right? What you want is the buff.
What I will say is, and Sam put this in the chat earlier, it's almost as if a lot of the rules changes at the moment are coming away from we need to dial it in for competitive and going back towards the here's how it makes sense narratively. Fucking shock. Imagine that being more fun.
Don't you find it really funny how there was a lot of like playtesters that went away but some stayed and the edition was really, really bad at the beginning. And then Games Workshop had loads of massive internal changes and got new rules people in to fix those problems. The game looks really good.
I'm not commenting, Joe, because I've already got myself in trouble. I'm not commenting on playtesting.
Thank you, Dreadnoughty, for 5 gifted memberships.
I think we said that already, but thank you again.
I hope for I hope for Emma's children you get a naughty Dreadnought with like a whip and like a leather thong. So you want? Thank you, Corner Ed, for the 1 gifted membership.
Thanks, Ed. Love you.
Thank you, Adam Johnson, for his first ever super chat. And it just says, pivot!
Pivot!
Pivot! Someone said earlier, all the Friends meme t-shirts are going to come out now.
Yeah. Pivot!
Thank you, Doha Pete. It says, really liking all these changes, but at the same time, a little voice in my head is reminding me that all these lessons will be shit-canned in 2 years when the refresh cycle comes around.
Well, when the refresh cycle does come out for 11th edition, they're almost definitely not going to index and start again because they've only done that recently. I would imagine we'll see Index start again every 2 to 3 editions. So hopefully what they'll do is they'll take this 33 pages of bollocks, and what they'll do is they'll just incorporate it into the core rulebook. They'll update it all. They'll tighten everything down. They'll learn all the lessons. The concern is when they index again, which they will do, and it will probably be in 12th or 13th edition. They'll index again in 12th or 13th edition because that's how they refresh their money cycle all over again. That's just how it works. That being said, I want to actively campaign for them to stop making editions 3 years long, because I don't think it's long enough. And again, it's just being greedy and money-hungry arseholes. I don't think the campaign's going to do anything, but that's what I'd like to do. But yeah, I don't think they'll lose I don't think they'll lose these lessons for the next edition. It's the edition after that I might be concerned. If they don't lose it, then it'll be the edition after that I'll definitely be concerned.
Pivot, I would prefer rotating. Harley, if you're still here, can you put your message in again?
I think he did.
He did, right?
We answered it, didn't we?
Did we?
Yeah.
I can't remember. It was so long ago before Liam's fucking rage.
Oh, it's too high.
It's too high up. Yeah. So if you could put your question again, don't super chat because you've obviously super chatted already. But it just means that we can see it again because I forgot because my brain is ineffective. Thank you, Carlos Lebas says, who says James Workshop doesn't write perfectly worded, simple rules? That leadership rule is clear as mud, dipped in crude oil, covered in molasses, dipped in poo.
Correct.
Yeah. Games Workshop. The thing is, though, because they made everything so simplified, not simple, they've opened themselves up to massive levels of gamey dickheads abusing grammar.
If this is my tank, right,
Yeah.
and this is my ruin, if I drive forward, then just drive sideways,
you don't suffer the negative modifier but you do end up travelling further because the whole model has to go beyond the vehicle, the thing. So if your vehicle is longer than 2 inches, which it will be, you would have to pay a greater tax to go sideways.
Okay.
So yes.
Just wondering, carry on.
Sorry. Thank you, Spec for Brain. Waiting for Mikey's I've broken Warhammer video, lol. I can't wait for it.
He'll do it. If he can break it, he'll do it, and fucking all power to him.
He's probably got it locked and loaded.
I like Mikey's I've broken edition videos better than I ever did before when I found out from GW that it enrages people at GW when he does it. I'm like, just write competent rules in the first place, you fucking idiots.
Yeah.
You can't write dog shit, and then when someone goes, I've broken it immediately because it's written badly, you go, you wanker, it's your fault for writing dog shit.
Yeah. Well, I think they're upset because he's made a video on it. I think they're perfectly fine for everyone to abuse those roles on the internet, but they just don't like it when it's been very, very clear. Have you got a message from someone yet?
No.
Oh. I'm waiting for it. Right. Thank you, Carlos Lemos. Here is the issue. Games Workshop is effectively killing any desire to buy a second army. Back in 2nd and 3rd edition, I had 8 different armies on top of 4 different Space Marine chapters. Never again, too much dollar.
It makes me sad because I still love the hobby. More importantly, I love the community that's built around the hobby. Not Games Workshop, not the people, not the suits, not the fucking finance people. You lot that get into Factorum, you lot that get into Element when we do Days at Element, you lot that come to tournaments, you lot that I meet at Warhammer Fests that they didn't bother with this year because obviously we're below them now. But we meet at places like UK Games Expo. You lot are part of the reason why I love the hobby.
Yeah.
And I like building new armies and building new exciting things and putting new things together to entertain you lot, to play with people at tournaments and stuff. I love it all. And I'm really sad that some of this stuff means that people turn around and go, I'm not going to do it anymore.
Can I just say, though, it's not everyone that works at Games Workshop's fault.
No, absolutely.
A lot of the people that work for Games Workshop really fucking love Games Workshop.
My Southampton store staff are fucking incredible people.
Yeah. It's just a very particular management level.
Because Tristan said, hold up, if the writers are writing poor rules, why would their wages go up? Their wages shouldn't. Tristan, quite frankly, they should be fired. Their wages shouldn't go up.
Yeah.
But maybe if they paid better in the first place, I might be able to get more competent people in.
Tom, can I make this my tournament outfit for a fee? For a fee, I'm sure we can work something out. Like the prostitute I am.
Yeah. Yeah. But thank you, Carlos. I'm sad.
you.
I'm genuinely sad. I hope maybe you just find the love for the hobby itself and go, you know what, fuck 'em, I'm still enjoying the hobby anyway, and maybe you do build another army.
I'm terrible. I fucking love Warhammer. I love it so much. I'm always thinking up new armies. I'm always badgering Liam for new stuff. I'm gonna go and drag out the Chaos Knights in a minute and see what I can build out of that, because I just fucking
Love Warhammer.
love Warhammer. I'm listening to Dead Men Walking at the moment, which is a book I read ages ago, but it's on audiobook now. So a man with a lovely German accent gets to read it to me. It's the same guy that narrated Krieg. It's brilliant. And now I'm like, kind of want to do some Krieg, and do a Krieg army now. But I also want to do Necrons as well, because Necrons are in the book and they're cool.
I love it. I love the hobby. I love the hobby. I've built my livelihood around it, for fuck's sake. I love the hobby. And I get sad when the company's malpractice and flat fucking incompetence then means that people super chat on our channel to say, I don't want to buy any more models, I don't know if I'm going to keep playing. That genuinely saddens me, because I love the hobby so much.
I'm kind of in a position where, like, before the Chaos Space Marine Codex, I'm in the same position now with, like, my guard. Like, I really want to add more stuff to my guard, but I don't want to add stuff at the same time that has lots of weapon options, because I don't know how games work, so we're going to change it. I don't want to build stuff now that's just going to go away.
No. Well, that's why I've been looking at building, for example, the Cerastus class knights.
Yeah.
Because they only have one weapon option. The Acheron's got a flamer and a fucking...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've got loads of Rough Riders which I could build, but I don't want to build, like, any tanks, because I don't know what the weapons are going to change. Yeah. Or, I want to add Death Company to my... more Death Company to my Flesh Tearers, but there's literally no point.
No.
Because I have no clue what the weapon option is going to be when that book drops.
No. And I wouldn't put it past them to hit 11th edition and be like, weapons are granular again. I wouldn't put that past them.
We started building Eldar, and I was like, well, the only Eldar worth building are the ones that have no weapon options.
Kai said it's refreshing to have a positive stream. Bravo, gentlemen. Love you, Kai. Cool. We've got a few more to get through before I get angry.
Yeah. Thank you, Smavin. It says, Liam, did say he was grumpy from no sleep. He told me he only had 2 hours.
I had 2 hours sleep last night.
Yeah.
I was and I went to the gym, and the first exercise I was doing, I tore my shoulder quite badly. And my PT was like, just go home. I was like, no, I'm finishing my session. I did the whole session with a torn shoulder, and now I'm in a lot of pain.
You're so brave.
No, he's an idiot. It's just idiotic, Jay.
Yesterday, I woke up tired in autopilot, had, like, the protein with the milk.
Ugh.
Right? I fucking love protein with milk. I got the red milk because it makes it taste. I refuse to have it with water.
I have it with water.
It's horrible.
I think it's all right. Mine's all right.
I'm like, what? It's because I like the milk. I like it because it's like a milkshake because I'm a child. Love milkshake.
Mine's like a milkshake with water.
But I did it, and then I went to the gym, and I felt like an overinflated fucking Lilo.
Because you drank fucking a whole thing of milk.
Yeah, I had a really good gym session, but it would have been a lot better if I didn't feel like I was going to be sick every 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sir Galahad Growhunter. We love you, fellas, Games Workshop or not, and we love you, Sir Galahad.
I love you, Sir Galahad.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah.
We try to stay positive. We're really excited for other stuff. We're going to keep having fun playing
the rules.
Warhammer.
The rules changes are good rules changes. The balanced Dataslate is a good change. The changes to the core rules are good changes. So in terms of the overall state of the game now, if we look at the overall state of the game, it's in a better place. In that regard, they've done a good job. But I don't want to brush over the fact that they're fixing the shit they created in the first place.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? So where it is now, after literal today's updates, I'm more excited to play more 40k because the rules are in a better place. Joe and I are incredibly lucky. We play 2, sometimes 3 times a week, sometimes 1, but normally 2, sometimes 3 times a week. So we play so incredibly frequently that actually keeping up with this stuff isn't too bad, even though we play multiple factions. I feel really sorry for the people that get to play once every month or 2, and then they're going to go, what the fuck is all of this?
Yeah.
So the rules, on a positive note, the rules are in a much better place. I'm more excited to play more 40k. It's just the accessibility is now worse. It's terrifying for people that can't keep up and it puts people off. The monetization is flat unethical, quite frankly, whilst you're also announcing record profits, whilst you're also putting the price up of your model kits.
Yeah.
And that's my issue.
It's like British Gas.
Don't. Let's not go there. Let's not do that one. Let's not do that one. That shoulder's fucked for a bit then. Nah, it'll be fine. It'll be okay.
Just lift little weights.
Well, I had to drop the weight down. So it's an incline chest press with dumbbells, right? And I did a set on Saturday, and I maxed at 27.5 kilos on each arm. So today I decided to throw up 30 kilos on each arm, but I've been previously doing it on a machine, so my side-to-side stability is not good. So I flicked the right one up, I flicked the left one up, and my arm just kept going backwards, and I couldn't stop it. And then I felt something start to go, so I just let go of the dumbbell because I was like, it's going to rip my shoulder in half. Yeah. All right. I went back down to 27.5, did the set, just fucking got on with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mama didn't raise no bitch. Right, what's the next?
Thank you, Sir Gallagher. No, thank you, Stephen Witham. 30th edition will crack the universe open.
It probably will, Steve.
It will, much, mate. In 9 years' time.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we're still going then. Thank you, Sir Gallagher. Grow Hunter, I hope Lidl sponsors you after today. I hope so. I really do hope so, because I fucking love their bakery. So good.
The bakery's good.
If anyone's watching that works for Lidl and is in a position to get us a sponsorship, I won't say no.
Lidl is actually better than Aldi. Facts.
Yeah, it is.
And the bakery is one of the main reasons for that.
Thank you, Star Pilot. I want to play, but at this rate, I'm going to just buy 40k models to hobby and play AOS because I can't learn the rules fast enough unless I play without the FAQ.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Which you can do. You can ignore all the changes. You can get together 2 friends and play 2 codexes and just play 40k on the base rules. You can do all those things. You absolutely can do all those things. I've tried to get this out before. It is actually, this is part of Games Workshop's kind of excuse. It's kind of their get out of jail free card. You can grab 2 codexes, grab the core rulebook, go to a table, play a game of Warhammer 40k, enjoy yourselves, and you might not have played all the rules correctly, and you might not have played as per all the FAQ, but you could have had a lot of fun. Equally, right, one of you can pick up the fucking Orc Codex in its state before the balance update, and one of you can pick up the Admech Codex in its state before the balance update, and you can play that with the core rules with no updates, and guess what? One is you're going to have a really fucking shit time. And that's the problem. The reason why all this shit comes out is because of the wild balance discrepancy that occurs between codexes, and because the rules are a little bit all over the place, and you'd have to do some interpreting. If you're just playing friendly games the whole time, interpreting it your own way, heck, even come out with house rules is perfectly legitimate. Yeah. It's perfectly legitimate to come up with house rules and go, we're not playing that version of GW because I think it's dumb. We're going to come up with our own house rules. We're actually going to change the way that Battle Shock works. Yeah. We're going to change it so that if you're Battle Shocked, you don't get any abilities on your data sheet. If you want to make that house rule between you and your friends and everyone agrees to it, it's 40k. You can do whatever you want. But I think in 2024 at least, especially with things like content creators like us dickheads out there, etc., I think a lot of people want to be playing the latest up-to-date version of the game. And if you do that, you're going to need the rules FAQ and the commentary, you're going to need your individual FAQ, you're going to need your balanced data slate to play the latest version of the game. And that's the problem. Games Workshop's get out of jail free card is just not really applicable for most people who want to be playing the latest version. So, fucking Kai, honestly. He's working really hard lately to get himself banned. I saw you chuckling.
I read Kai's fan and I was poking a bear. Thank you, Morty Hammer, for the 1 gifted membership.
Thank you, Morty Hammer.
And thank you, Templar. Says, do you think traditional points will ever return?
I want to say yes.
I don't think it will.
Because I think, I want to say yes because I think I want them to return. But I think GW is one of those that's like, we've made this change, we're sticking it out now.
I don't think it will change because units now, as they're being released, are pushing more towards what's in the box.
Agree.
Right? So if you can only take what's in the box and there are less options in those box, it's easier to balance that unit because you can literally just use what you have.
Yeah.
If the box comes with 1 power fist, 1 power sword, and a thunder hammer, and they do it so you get 5 attacks with one, 4 attacks with the other one, 3 attacks with the other one, but then they have damage goes in the opposite direction, right? Then they go, the points are all the same, but your profiles are slightly different, but obviously it balances equal. I think that's the way it'll go.
Yeah, I think you're right. I ultimately think you're right, probably, which is a shame. I honestly, I want to go back to granular points. I want individual weapons to cost things, and I want people to have the option to kit bash and change all their Chaos Terminators to all have Power Fist if they want to. That's what I want, but I don't think we're going to see, unfortunately. Yeah. What we are going to see tonight, however, at 7:30, you beautiful human beings, it looks like Dark Angels versus Tyranids with updated rules from the Balanced Dataslate and from the MFM, etc. that we've been showing you today. So look forward to that at 7:30. We're going to go now because we're an hour over time.
Yeah, I need to set up the table, I need to get the army out.
I need to eat.
Yeah.
And I need to go and punch something, probably. Not you. You'll be fine.
Good.
I like you.
Good.
So thank you so much for hanging out with us and going through these changes. Quite positive until we start talking about why it's needed and the monetization of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, genuinely, if you listen to the first hour and a half of us reading through all the rules, on the whole, the changes are good changes.
Yeah, being 10.5 is not a bad thing. I think the game is going to be good. If you are up to date and relevant with the game and following in with it, I think you're going to have a better time after this week. As of today, you're going to have a better time than you did a week ago. I think. And that's a win.
That is a win.
Yeah.
As long as you can keep up with all the changes and you know where to find all the rules.
Yeah, it's not like a computer game where they go, here's an update, this gun is now slightly less strong than it was when it was killing everyone in one shot.
Yeah.
And this gun that was really shit is now slightly good. Right? It's the same as that, but you have to read it instead of it just happening.
Yeah. So if you can get your head around it and you play these new rules, I think you are. I think Joe's right. I think you're gonna have more fun. Yeah. Tonight we're gonna try and do that ourselves, whilst I still whinge about my sore shoulder, probably. And you get to watch us at 7:30, as we use Dark Angels as voted by you versus Tyranids, which Joe's very, very excited by. So you can look forward to that this evening, 7:30. Tomorrow we are back at 8:30 with 40k After Dark, where we're gonna drink mead and just be cheerful, because I'm hoping after tonight I'm gonna sleep, because I haven't slept properly in about 3 days now. I don't know what's going on with me, to be honest with you. Must be all the crack. And then next week we return with another full schedule. So Monday we've got the Hobby Hangout. Tuesday Liam and Joe AOS show and a game. Wednesday the Warhammer show. Thursday back to this, and we continue because we love the grind. 7 streams a week, just entertainment for you wonderful, beautiful human beings. As long as you keep showing up and you keep supporting us and you keep flashing your cash at us and tucking dollar bills into Joe's G-string, we're going to keep showing up and providing you with, hopefully, at least entertaining content, right? Cool. I will remain ignorant of who this Discord's fella is. Accurate description, Tristan. Accurate description. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, you beautiful human beings. I'll see you in the next one.
Bye, have a wonderful time.